Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook. After being spotted by the vampire school beauty, I got numb. Chapter 81. Soo-jae's blood energy has begun to heal the wounds on his back, but it cannot be restored to full health for a while. He turned around and faced Lin Shiqing with his back. There were red blood stains on the clothes. Lin Shiqing slowly opened her clothes distressedly and saw the numerous wounds underneath. Lin Shiqing covered her mouth in surprise. A long scar spread. What kind of pain did Soo-jae endure just now? Driven by blood energy, the wound heals at a speed visible to the naked eye. Soo-jae said calmly, "You see, it will be fine soon." "Well, when I detained you just now, you should have pushed me away," Lin Shiqing said guiltily and excitedly. Her right hand flew up, and blood-red energy emerged from her white hand. She also began to help Soo-jae repair the wounds on his back. With the concerted efforts of the two of them, Shui Neng quickly restored the wound to its original state, leaving only some shallow scars. Fortunately, Lin Shiqing's nails were not long. If they were longer, the wound would probably be much deeper. "Are you feeling better?" Lin Shiqing asked. "It's healed already. In fact, even if you don't help me with blood, my wound will be healed in a short time. The wound is secondary, the important thing is the pain." Lin Shiqing shook her head. "It's all my fault for causing you so much pain. Don't you feel pain too? If it hurts, just stay together. What's the point?" The corners of Soo-jae's mouth turned up. "We are a family, and we have to stay together when we are in pain. When we die in the future, we will lie down together on the bed together." Plate. "Screw you, who wants to lie down with you and talk about death? It's unlucky for you." Lin Shiqing laughed and scolded. "Okay, everything is over. The purity of your bloodline has been improved. I also got the number of draws. We are all happy." Soo-jae hugged Lin Shiqing. In his arms, she was as soft as a bone and fragrant. Life advice: holding a girl is really a very comfortable thing. It smells good, is soft, it is really enjoyable. "Well, it's all over." Lin Shiqing leaned on Soo-jae's shoulder, feeling very relieved. "By the way, did you draw the lottery?" Faced with Lin Shiqing's inquiry, Soo-jae replied, "Not yet. I didn't have time because I saw your bloodline advanced just now. Now I have time. Then let's start. I hope you have better luck this time and draw something good." Lin Shiqing sat up, clasped her hands together, closed her eyes tightly, and a look of hope appeared on her face. "I hope Zabao can get the good stuff he likes." Following the example of Qing Bao, Lin Shiqing now also calls Soo-jae, Jie Bao. This pair is living together. Seeing Lin Shiqing's serious look, Soo-jae smiled slightly and relaxed his brows. She really looks like a beautiful girl bathed in the holy light and starting to pray. "There's one thing you definitely don't know," Soo-jae said mysteriously. Lin Shiqing asked in confusion, "What?" "I usually have a ritual for my draws, and this ritual is very effective." "What?" Soo-jae took out his mobile phone and played "Good Luck." When the festive sounds echoed in the room, Lin Shiqing blinked. This song was played by Soo-jae in the car when he was in the Wei area. The song, "Good Luck Comes," is a must-have for lottery draws. European emperors regard it as a magic weapon for winning, and African chiefs regard it as a life-saving straw. If you play lottery mobile games, you will definitely understand the gold content of this BGM. Soo-jae said with a smile on his face. "You mean lottery mobile games? I have indeed played some, but those were all last year." Lin Shiqing folded her hands and counted. Yuenshin, Tomorrow Boat, Heping Elite, Azure Lane, Bounce, and many more, but I have never let go of this BGM, and I have never understood it. "Huh, since you didn't play BGM, you must be unlucky. Do you guarantee the bottom every time?" Soo-jae asked. "I don't remember clearly. I just remember that my hands were a little tired at the time, and I didn't know what the guarantee was. If I like something, I will keep charging money until I get it," Lin Shiqing replied. "Depend on." Soo-jae felt a trough in his heart. Is this the shackles of using money to defeat luck? As long as the money is in place, any roll or prop is no problem, right? Is this how rich people play games? I am short-sighted. When the poor are still thinking about how to have more liver and have better luck. Lin Shiqing has already started clicking to recharge, becoming a god with one click. Can't compare, can't compare. Then why did you stop playing? It's so boring. I just pick a character when I see it. After a long time, it feels quite boring to go back and forth. It's better to watch TV series and watch short videos. Lin Shiqing shrugged. That's it. When playing the game is a cracked version. That's really boring. Su Jie expressed understanding. Amid the festive BGM, Su Jie clicked the lottery button. A flash of golden light. According to past experience, this is something good. Wow, golden legend. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the skill, blood devouring. Surprised, Su Jie quickly clicked on the details interface. Blood swallowing. Devouring the blood essence of the vampires, the swallowing ratio is 50%, and there is no loss in the transformation process. In addition, the higher the purity of the blood essence, the greater the improvement in one's own strength, which can be converted into attribute points. Su Jie's eyes lit up. At the same time, there are too many ways to help improve this skill. Look at your own attributes. Host, Su Jie. Power, 122. Spirit, 124. Speed, 123. Defense, 120. Skills, Time Stop, Elementary, Transformation into Vampire, Blood Devouring. The third level of the last vampire, followed by 3 skills. The 3 skills are very useful and are considered his core now. The advantage of the blood swallowing is that as long as you kill some Western vampires, you can improve your strength. In addition, swallowing is secondary, the important thing is to exalt the majesty of the East. What Western vampires really think they are superior to others? But for now, there seems to be no clues about the Western vampires. Su Jie frowned slightly, and Lin Shiqing on the side saw this and asked, "What's wrong? Didn't you get a good reward? If you don't draw it, forget it, that's okay." Quote, Su Jie couldn't help but smile when he heard Lin Shiqing's comfort. "No, I'm pretty lucky this time. It's a skill." As he spoke, Su Jie told Lin Shiqing about the blood-devouring skill. This skill should be pretty strong, right? After all, if you simply kill other vampires and devour their essence and blood, it will cause some losses. But this skill is very good at avoiding waste. Quote. Lin Shiqing nodded after hearing this. Indeed, with the help of this skill, devouring other vampires can increase your strength faster. Su Jie suddenly realized a problem. He is a 3rd-level vampire, and Lin Shiqing is a 4th-level vampire. The strength of the two really feels like fighting against the 5 scum. Just now, I was ambitious and wanted to help the Eastern vampires clear their name. Wasn't this just a daydream? It's not that important where you go to hunt the Western vampires. The key is to improve your strength as quickly as possible. Regarding the existence of the system, Su Jie would only let Lin Shiqing know at most, and he would never reveal anything to others. Before, I assured Lin Shiqing that the most important thing was that she was a vested interest, and the existence of the system would also be of great benefit to her. The key is that the system's task is to designate Lin Shiqing. If you don't be honest with her and lose her trust in yourself, it will be difficult to continue everything in the future. Su Jie needs Lin Shiqing to continuously complete system tasks. This is the core. When the 2 Western vampires invaded, Su Jie had to use the time stop skill. Without confessing the existence of the system to Lin Shiqing, no matter how you explain the time stop skill, it will all seem pale. He needs Lin Shiqing's trust to take the next step. At the same time, Lin Shiqing and he also developed inextricable feelings. Su Jie believed that telling her about the existence of the system was absolutely reliable. Today's breakthrough in the purity of Lin Shiqing's blood cannot be noticed by other vampires, especially Lin Shiqing's parents. It is not difficult to hide this matter, you only need to hide part of the blood energy fluctuations. He and Lin Shiqing were still in their infancy and had not yet developed the ability to protect themselves, so they naturally had to live on their own. With the rise in strength and strong strength, they stood at the pinnacle of the Eastern Blood clan. Even in the clan, no one dared to say that they were absolutely right. The strong rule. Qingbao, you must hide your bloodline. If others discover it, there will be endless troubles. Su Jie said seriously. Lin Shiqing is a Chinese major and understands the reason why holding a bib is a crime. She nodded. I understand, so don't worry. Lin Shiqing is the person Su Jie trusts most at present. It's not that his family can't trust them, but if they know what's happening now, it might scare them to death. When you and I become stronger, we can look for clues about the Western vampires and we become hunters. By then, my strength will definitely increase much faster. Su-jae said solemnly. But you have to remember that you must protect your own safety, otherwise you should not act rashly. Lin Shiqing instructed. Of course I know. Su-jae smiled. In the building of Lin Group, Yi Wei looked at the report in his hand, and Zhou Shueming in front of him secretly looked at him. Why do you feel that Mr. Yi is not in a good mood today? A few days ago, I saw Yi Wei and Bai Ying being close to each other, but these days, I suddenly discovered that they had no contact. Before, Yi Wei often asked her to show documents to Bai Ying, but now it's all on his own. Do it yourself. Is there a conflict? Zhou Shueming kept guessing, tapping the file bag in her hand a few times with her mutton-fat jade-like fingers. Well, this plan is quite detailed, so I'll just go with what you said. Yi Wei raised his head, looked at Zhou Shueming, and said slowly. Okay, Mr. Yi. Bai Ying walked in at this time. Her footsteps were like the wind, and she quickly arrived in front of Yi Hui's table. She shrugged. Yi Wei, I have something to tell you. Seeing this posture, Zhou Shueming said knowingly, Mr. Yi and Mr. Bai, I'll leave first. After Yi Wei nodded, Zhou Shueming turned around and walked out of the office. After the door was closed, Yi Wei looked at Bai Ying. What's the matter with you? I came here to say goodbye to you. I'm going back to my clan. Bai Ying said with a meaningless look. Huh, Yi Wei raised his eyebrows, a little confused. What, you think I will stay here and not leave? Bai Ying couldn't help laughing. You have rejected me, how can I still stay here? Does the head of the family know? Did he agree? I told him that you and I couldn't get along, so he agreed to let me go back. Bai Ying said with a slight smile. Okay, it's good to go back. Yi Wei breathed a sigh of relief. Bai Ying's behavior was indeed very different from his. In Bai Ying's eyes, love is more like a toy that can happen with many people. But in Yi Hui's eyes, love is very sacred and can only happen with the person he loves most. Correspondingly, the person he loves the most can only have love with him. When a warrior of pure love meets a cynical lustful woman, there is bound to be no good outcome. Bai Ying can pick it up and put it down, so leaving now is a good ending. The head of the family also wanted to keep me, but I refused. Yi Wei, actually I shouldn't have delayed you. Just treat what happened that night as a dream. Bai Ying added. Yi Wei couldn't help but ask, I still don't understand. If you only pursue physical stimulation, wouldn't you feel empty or guilty? Bai Ying smiled, her teeth exposed. You don't need to try to persuade me, just as I won't try to persuade you. We don't have the same views. It's as simple as that. Bai Ying left, with a slender figure and a free and easy temperament. There will be no chance for the two of them to see each other again in the future. Yi Wei is no longer allowed to go to the clan area, and it will be difficult for them to have any stories in the future. Just when Bai Ying was about to open the door, she suddenly turned around. Whenever your mind changes, you can contact me. I still like you. In addition, the assistant named Zhou Shueming really likes you. I suggest you either cut the knot quickly and alienate her, or, haha, everything is in your hands. By the way, ever since I came here, I have always felt like a love triangle. Quote. It wasn't until Bai Ying left for several minutes that Yi Wei came back to his senses. He also began to think about Zhou Shueming. That girl really likes me. Bai Ying mentioned it to him when she arrived here on the first day. At that time, he didn't care. But after this period of observation, he gradually discovered that Zhou Shueming would often glance towards him, as if he wanted to observe something. We have to think of a way. Yi Wei frowned slightly, and his cell phone suddenly rang. The caller was Lin Xiaohua. Yi Wei, Bai Ying said she was leaving. You should know about this, right? Of course I know, she just left. Lin Xiaohua was in the clan at this time and had just taken the time to call Yi Wei. It doesn't matter if you don't like the person this time. There are many beautiful female blood servants in our tribe, so let's find another one. I happen to be in the tribe, so I'll just look for another one. Lin Xiaohua was quite interested in Yi Wei and wanted to help him arrange major events in his life. Yi Wei said quickly, Master, let's forget it, I want to wait for some time before talking about it. And even if there is another one, she and I may not be able to make it happen. After all, we are not familiar with each other at all. If we don't get along again, it will be in vain. Quote, hey, isn't this the meaning of blind dates? It would be weird if we could find the right one right away. Yi Wei still persisted and said, it's better not to use it. Really, Patriarch, I appreciate your kindness. Let's talk about it after a while. Seeing Yi Wei being so persistent, Lin Xiaohua couldn't hold on any longer. Okay then, I'll go back the day after tomorrow, and we'll continue talking then. Okay, Master. Putting down his phone, Yi Wei looked at the huge office and slowly closed his eyes. It seems like I haven't had a good rest for half a month, right? Yi Wei leaned on the recliner a little tiredly and fell into a deep sleep. First beat an egg in a container, then pour some fine sugar, then start mixing with a mixer, pour in some low-fat flour, cocoa powder, and continue to mix. Su Jie kept talking while holding his hands. He is making chocolate cake. Just now when Lin Shiqing was promoted to a bloodline, he promised her to make chocolate cake. Now we have to bite the bullet and prepare. To be honest, he really doesn't know how to make chocolate cake. These so-called processes were all strategies he found online. If something goes wrong, the chocolate cake won't come out right. Because he has no experience, he is very cautious. With the palm of his hand flying, he had already handled it well. Highly focused and methodical step by step. Outside the kitchen, Lin Shiqing was looking forward to it. How's it going? It's really strange that Su Jie didn't let her see it. Is he trying to pull some trick? The reason behind this is that Su Jie boasted too much before, saying that he could do it himself and did it very well. In order to maintain her image as a baking expert, Lin Shiqing naturally couldn't let Lin Shiqing see her searching for tutorials on the internet. It'll be ready soon, just wait a moment. Su Jie shouted while continuing to prepare. Su Jie felt nervous when he put the container of cake batter into the baking box. This is my first attempt, so it shouldn't fail, right? After putting the things away, Su Jie adjusted the baking time for an hour. Then he walked out of the kitchen. Why are you so mysterious? You won't let me see it. Lin Shiqing said angrily. The main reason is that if someone is around, I might not be able to do it well. Su Jie quickly explained. Returning to the kitchen an hour later, Su Jie took out the cake and looked at it. The cake has been formed and looks pretty good. Sprinkle a little chocolate sauce on top and garnish with a few small cherries. It looks very good. Su Jie didn't like this kind of tooth-dropping cake. He didn't like sweets. As for why Lin Shiqing likes to eat sweets, Su Jie got the answer, because eating sweets makes her happy. In order to prove her point of view, Lin Shiqing also cited some scientific evidence. Scientific research shows that sweet foods can help promote the synthesis of dopamine, endocannabinoids and other hormones in the brain. These hormones can make people feel happy, satisfied, excited, and happy. I believe it. Isn't it okay if I believe it? Lin Shiqing was rare and rigorous, which made Su Jie change his view on Lin Shiqing. It seems that this kid is not the ferocious and brainless type. After bringing the chocolate cake to the table, Lin Shiqing clapped her hands. It looks really good. I just don't know how it tastes. Lin Shiqing's eyes flashed and she looked at Su Jie. Su Jie said confidently, the taste is definitely not bad, you will know after one taste. Sometimes he was so confident that when Lin Shiqing looked in pain, he realized that he had put too much cocoa powder. Su Jie, I'm suffering so much that it's almost killing me. Do you want to murder me? In a moment of pain, Lin Shiqing's face turned pale, and even Zabao couldn't cry out. It feels like taking a bite of bitter melon directly, or chewing it slowly. Su Jie panicked and quickly ran to the water dispenser and got a glass of water. After rinsing her mouth several times, Lin Shiqing returned to her usual demeanor. It seems that I still trust you too much. Lin Shiqing put a large piece of cake into her mouth at once, which undoubtedly expressed her trust in Su Jie's baking skills. But unfortunately, Su Jie failed her. Su Jie looked apologetic. When I practice again, I will definitely be better in the future. I swear, I must let you take a bite first, otherwise I will never dare to eat. After learning from the pain, Lin Shiqing said slowly. I asked why the chocolate cake you made is so dark. It feels a little wrong. The corner of Lin Shiqing's mouth twitched, and the bitter taste just now came to her heart. She felt that she had a shadow on chocolate cake, and she was about to lose interest in chocolate cake. Su Jie sighed. It's still a bit overwhelming. Unexpectedly, it was an unexpected turn of events. But if you practice more in the future, there should be no problem. Early the next morning, Lin Shiqing asked Su Jie to take her to Shu Hongmei, the old woman who made sweet-scented osmanthus cakes and Su Jie's landlord. I just remembered that the sweet-scented osmanthus cake from before was buried under the ruins at the old villa. I want to eat it again. Let's go find that old lady together, Lin Shiqing requested. Su Jie nodded when he heard this. Okay, I haven't visited Grandma Shu for a while. Time flies, and it's almost a month. It's also the National Day holiday. Many people in their circle of friends have begun to announce plans for the National Day. And Su Jie currently has no intention of traveling because he is too weak. To be honest, he really wanted to go outside and play with Lin Shiqing. But now that the Western vampires have penetrated into the Kingdom of China, you might be able to encounter some during your travels. At that time, his strength will not be able to protect Lin Shiqing, and he will regret it for the rest of his life. The fluctuations of the vampires cannot be recognized by humans, but for the powerful vampires, it is not difficult to identify the same kind. Su Jie could transform into a human to evade tracking, but Lin Shiqing couldn't. As long as she appeared outside, there would be certain blood fluctuations. This is also the source of the danger. She had just changed places, and Lin Shiqing didn't buy a car, so she could only drive her mother Lin Wen's. Lin Wen now likes Su Jie a lot because she can feel that he really takes care of her daughter and that he is a very good boyfriend. Lin Shiqing also appeared very happy, and Lin Wen was already very satisfied. Lin Wen's car was a red Maserati Ghibli. Lin Shiqing had no problem driving it, but it was not as showy as the original pink Maserati. Putting some small poisonous insects into Xiaofen's lunchbox, Lin Shiqing touched its head and comforted it softly. I'm going out for a while and I'll be back later. You are at home and be well. Su Jie looked on. Although this little fan is a spider, I have to say that he can really understand Lin Shiqing's words, and he can understand her words. Xiaofen nodded, swung her 8 long furry legs, and stretched out her front 2 legs, as if waving goodbye to Lin Shiqing. Su Jie also stepped forward and touched its little head. Over the past few days, they had become more and more familiar with it. Xiaofen also seems to regard him as his own. He is very well behaved and listens to his words. They have become partners. Su Jie rubbed Xiaofen's little head and suddenly had an idea. If Xiaofen also sucks some of his blood, will it also make it stronger? Maybe it's really possible. The sound of wind outside the window brought Su Jie back to reality. He realized that Lin Shiqing was racing again. On the Ring Expressway, it has exceeded 200 miles. Holy shit, miss, the speed limit here is 100 miles, and you did double that. You are so brave. Su Jie had long known that Lin Shiqing liked speed racing. When she came back from the Neon era, Lin Shiqing kept racing the rich second generation who had been harassing her. The speed at that time was even close to 300 kilometers per hour. It is true that it is flying close to the ground. Although Lin Shiqing's driving skills were good, Su Jie was still a little worried. Just looking at the car body that is constantly overtaking and swaying back and forth, I feel unsafe. Lin Shiqing smiled. What, you said faster. Another kick on the accelerator, and the speed surged again. Selectively deaf, right? Pretty boy. Su Jie was speechless, looking at the rapidly retreating scenery outside the window. A car was left behind. But there's nothing to worry about. Even if there's a car accident, the two of them probably won't die. Their physical strength and powerful regeneration capabilities have exceeded normal humans by countless times. At most, it's just a loss of one car. The top speed of this Maserati is more than 260 kilometers per hour. After hitting the upper limit, it cannot speed up again. Lin Shiqing was a little disappointed. Hey, it seems that I have to buy another sports car in the future, but this car still doesn't work. Seeing how much Lin Shiqing likes racing, Su Jie couldn't help but get interested. Otherwise, he would also try to get a sports car for fun. I have never driven a sports car before, so this matter needs to be considered in the long run. Although Lin Shiqing likes racing, she is not the kind of lunatic who would risk her life just for pleasure. After she got off the highway, she gradually slowed down. The speed slowed down, and we soon approached the courtyard of the steel factory in the city. That is Xu Hongmei's home. Su Jie looked at the familiar scenes around him and silently remembered the 2 years of college he spent here. Grandpa Li, Grandpa Wang, Grandma Zhang. After getting out of the car and walking to the gate of the community, Su Jie greeted the elderly people in the community. Next to him, Lin Shiqing held his arm. Their appearance was very eye-catching and attracted a lot of attention in an instant. Okay, Xiao Su, long time no see. Long time no see, you still haven't changed at all, you've even become a little younger. This guy is really energetic. These old people were still looking at Lin Shiqing on the side and making guesses in their hearts. This girl should be Su Jie's girlfriend, right? Is it the daughter who drives a luxury car last time? I didn't expect that this kid Su Jie would fall in love with someone so quickly. This is a great thing. If he can find such a rich girlfriend, he won't have to worry about it for decades to come. Lin Shiqing also smiled slightly. Her personality has changed now. She is not as cold as before and is much kinder. After the two people walked away, these old people immediately started talking. That girl actually smiled just now, did you see it? I saw it. I thought she had facial paralysis before, but I didn't expect she had an expression. Actually, it's true. Although I thought that girl was pretty before, I didn't think she was too pretty. But when she smiled, I suddenly felt that she was really a beautiful girl. In the distance, Lin Shiqing was walking with a black line on her face. I thought I couldn't hear because I was far away, but I am a vampire and my 5 senses are so developed, how could I not hear clearly? It was clear to hear, just like what was said in Lin Shiqing's ears. Su Jie suppressed laughter on the side. This is the first time I know that you had facial paralysis before. Lin Shiqing's eyes flashed fiercely. He waved his pink fist and hit Su Jie immediately. Are you going to die? Su Jie put away his smile and looked serious. You heard it, right? In fact, you look best when you smile. Smile more in the future. Lin Shiqing snorted when she heard this. As long as you don't make me angry, I will definitely laugh, but if you make me angry, hee. The two chatted while going upstairs. Knocked on Xu Hongmei's door. Who? A familiar voice came and the door opened. Xiao Su, Xu Hongmei said in surprise. She noticed Lin Shiqing beside her. That classmate of yours is here too. Seeing Lin Shiqing holding Su Jie's arm, Xu Hongmei said, it seems like they are no longer classmates, but boyfriend and girlfriend. Su Jie smiled. Yes, let me introduce you to her. This is my girlfriend, Lin Shiqing. Lin Shiqing, Shiqing, what a good name. Xu Hongmei beamed. Her place has always been quiet on weekdays. Her husband passed away and her children don't live together. She stays at home alone. The only way to make the house popular is to turn on the TV. The sound of the TV can make the house lively. There are also some sweet-scented osmanthus cakes on the table. Because Lin Shiqing said she liked the sweet-scented osmanthus cake she made last time, which made her feel needed, so she took the time to make some more. She usually doesn't have much to do, so making sweet-scented osmanthus cake makes her feel more fulfilled. Shiqing, you said you liked it last time. I've made some more these days and will take it back later. Lin Shiqing was very happy when she heard this and said happily, thank you so much, Grandma Xu. But this sweet-scented osmanthus cake must have wasted a lot of time, it was so troublesome. Quote. Xu Hongmei waved her hand. This is all done in my free time. I don't have much to do anyway. Su Jie understood deeply that as an empty-nest old man, it is indeed lonely to live alone. It's a pity that I don't live here anymore, otherwise I can still have some contact and spend time with the landlady. All living beings suffer, living is not an easy thing. Lin Shiqing was sitting at the dining table, chatting with Xu Hongmei. To be honest, Xiao Su is so lucky to have found such a beautiful girlfriend like you. You two look very good as a couple, Xu Hongmei said with a smile. The wrinkles on her face were stacked together, very kind. Lin Shiqing's face turned a little red, and Su Jie said shamelessly, Grandma Xu, she is attracted by my charm. She has no choice but to make me look so handsome. Hearing this, Lin Shiqing's eyes once again had a fierce light. Then he pinched Su Jie. Su Jie's face was expressionless, but his heart was filled with frustration. It really hurts. I don't know why, but when I'm with Xu Hongmei, I feel very relaxed and willing to talk. Perhaps Su Jie saw the figure of his deceased grandmother in Xu Hongmei. I still remember that when I was a child, my grandma gave him everything good. Then 1 year after the Spring Festival, she suddenly died of a heart attack. Too caught off guard. I can only see you in heaven. Life is never perfect, there will always be some regrets. Regarding the fight between Su Jie and Lin Shiqing, Xu Hongmei looked kindly and looked at the two of them happily. After chatting with Xu Hongmei for more than 2 hours, the two of them took a bag of sweet-scented osmanthus cake and prepared to say goodbye. Before leaving, Xu Hongmei looked at the two of them with some reluctance. Remember to come often in the future. You should also study hard in school and strive to serve the country in the future. The thoughts of the older generation are so pure. Su Jie and Lin Shiqing responded and waved goodbye. The movie just now was really ugly. Yes, that plot was really embarrassing and too ridiculous. You should really read the online reviews in advance before deciding whether to come or not. There were 6 people in the group, 2 boys, one was tall and thin, and the other was a little short and a little fat. The other 4 girls have their own characteristics. They are a Lolita, a girl with glasses, a Korean model trainee, and a cold lady. This combination is so eye-catching that passers-by all over the street can't help but look at them. A few boys were attracted to his eyes for too long and were pinched several times by their girlfriends beside them. The Lolita is naturally Yi Exner. Today she is wearing a Lolita, which is quite suitable. The long skirt is paired with harmless eyes, her face is slightly baby fat and cute, and her eyes are big, round and watery. The glasses lady is Ji Yu Shuyi. She wears gold-rimmed glasses and is gentle and elegant. However, those who know her know how disconnected her appearance is from her inner self. This child is not simple, he is a middle school girl and a senior 2-dimensional girl. He looks pure and introverted on the outside and doesn't like to talk, but he is actually very wild. He has a reputation of taking off his glasses and getting full power. Han Fan's trainee is Kui Shaoxi. She has been influenced by the culture of Bangzi country and has some understanding of the girl group culture there, so her attire tends to be closer to that country. Hot denim shorts, paired with a navel-bearing t-shirt, the waistcoat line is very obvious, and the whole person looks very cool. As for the cold sister, it is Lin Shiqing. Her eyes are slightly cold, her black outfit is a bit sharp, her face has clear and smooth contours, and she is full of coolness. She held Su Jie's arm and walked aside. The shorter and chubby one was Zhang Zilin. He had already held Ji Yu Shuyi's hand, and the spark of love between the two had already begun. Seeing the close appearance of Zhang Zilin and Ji Yu Shuyi, some young single men who were shopping in the mall almost had their teeth broken. You really deserve to die. Where did I lose? The 6 of them had just come out of the cinema. A comedy had recently been released and it was quite popular. Unexpectedly, after entering the cinema to find out what it was, they found out that it was a bad movie. After watching half of it, they couldn't stand it anymore and walked out. 2 couples were paired with 2 beautiful girls, and many young men were already starting to get excited, wondering whether they should approach them and ask for a WeChat message. Exner, look at them in pairs, why don't you bring your boyfriend out and have a look? We haven't seen each other yet. Kui Shaoxi couldn't help but joke. Yi Exner was stunned when she heard this and was a little flustered. Forget it, he's very busy. No matter how busy I am, I still have to spend time with my girlfriend. Kui Shaoxi complained. Oh, it's okay. After a while, when he feels more relaxed, I will definitely bring him to see you. Yi Exner explained, besides, how embarrassing it would be for you if I also brought someone with me. The only light bulb in the room is you. At least I'm with you now. Quote. Everyone couldn't help laughing when they heard this. Then where should we go next? Lin Shiqing asked. Su Jie heard this and remembered that last night, Lin Shiqing told him that she had had blonde hair for a long time and wanted to change her style and dye her hair another color. Don't you want to dye your hair? Now that you have time, why not go take a look? Su Jie said. Hearing this, Yi Exner and Kui Shaoxi immediately became interested. Yes, Xiao Qingqing, you haven't changed your hair color for a long time. Why don't you go check it out and change it to another hair color? You will definitely become more beautiful by then. That's right, if our Xiqing looks are put here, no matter what color her hair is, she can definitely control it. Kui Shaoxi echoed from the side. These days, the vast majority of rich women are rich but not beautiful. Those who are rich and beautiful, like Lin Xiqing, are really rare, and they are the real winners in life. Lin Xiqing hesitated. I just don't know if the effect will be good after dyeing my hair. Ji Yushuyi has already come over. Obviously, she is also interested in hair dyeing. I think white is good. I think Zhao Qing's appearance should suit her well. Zhang Zilin on the side also became interested for a moment. The grass god's hair is white, but Sister Xiqing's appearance and height are obviously not that of a Lolita. After dyeing her hair white, the effect should be more like Ningguang and Shen He. Having never played the game Yuanxian, everyone present except Ji Yushuyi expressed their confusion. It wasn't until Zhang Zilin took out a few photos from his phone that everyone understood. It sure tastes like that. Lin Xiqing's appearance is cold. After dyeing her hair white, the coldness will be stronger and more touching. Su Jie fantasized about Lin Xiqing's dyed white hair. What a beautiful image. The point is that after looking at blonde hair for a long time, changing your hair color will give you a new feeling. For people with superior looks, changing to rarer hair colors is a great thing because they can control it. But if you have a worrying appearance and a rare hair color, the effect can only be described as explosive. All in all, hair color is just the icing on the cake. Yi Exener has already dyed her hair pink, which is similar to her personality. Kui Shaoxi's hair color is brown, slightly yellow, and this hair color is the most suitable for her. As for Ji Yushuyi, she has always been black and never dyed her hair. This middle-aged girl doesn't like to dress herself up very much. She only puts on a little makeup every day when she goes out. She spends most of her time chasing fans, so she doesn't have time to buy cosmetics. Despite this, Ji Yushuyi's appearance is still very good. His skin is very supple and delicate, and there is not a single pimple. Some people are really weird. Even though they stay up late every day to watch TV shows and eat late-night snacks, they don't gain weight and their skin condition is still so good. They don't even have dark circles under their eyes. Comparing people to each other is so annoying. Su Jie had never thought of dyeing his hair. He had always had black hair with boyish bangs. He looked much younger, like a high school student. Lin Xiqing gradually became firm under everyone's persuasion. Then go dye your hair a different color. Anyway, nothing has changed for a long time. The hair of the vampires can be said to be impregnable. They will never go bald, and they don't have to worry about perming or dyeing their hair. This is also a major advantage of vampires. In many ways, vampires seem to be the pro-max version of humans. The vampires are like an evolved version of humans, with many shortcomings made up for. I walked into the barber shop in the mall and it looked pretty good. Only Lin Xiqing needs to dye her hair, and the others don't need to perm or dye their hair. They were in the largest shopping mall in Binhai, Shengling Plaza. The rent for opening a store here is very high because it is close to the city center and has a large flow of people. The monthly rent is hundreds of thousands. Brown Barber Shop is very luxuriously decorated, and many people are still queuing up. Tony saw a group of 6 people approaching and greeted them quickly. Ms. Lin, you are here. Tony directly invited Lin Xiqing to the VIP waiting area. Many people waiting looked unhappy but helpless. If you want to enjoy preferential treatment, you have to pay. What did you say? No money. It's better to go and cool off. The reality is so naked and real. Lin Xiqing had her hair dyed here before. Because the service attitude here was good and the technology was in place, she simply got a VIP card here to enjoy the top service. Tony quickly found Heather, the most skilled hairdresser here. Heather is very good at perming and dyeing. He also knows Lin Xiqing and knows that this is a big customer in the store, so he keeps a low profile. After asking Lin Xiqing what she thought, Heather brought over a notebook with different hair colors on it for comparison. There are many types of hair colors, and there are many branches under white, such as matte gray, linen white, beige gray, etc. It is not just about dyeing white. After some selection, Lin Xiqing finally chose champagne gray. This color has a silvery feel, is very high-end, and looks very comfortable. Su Jie supported Lin Shiqing's decision, and the other 4 people also felt that this hair color would suit Lin Shiqing very well. Sitting in the waiting area next to him, Su Jie had some imagination. Good guy, my girlfriend is about to turn into a white-haired lady. Heather's hair dyeing skills are obvious to all. He has an important position in the entire brown hair salon and his techniques are first-rate. At this time, he was preparing Lin Shiqing to wash her hair. It is worth noting that Heather is a Chinese-English mixed race. His facial features are relatively 3-dimensional and have a Caucasian look. With medium-length wavy hair, she has the air of an artist. Warm water flowed on Lin Shiqing's head. Heather was about to reach out, but Lin Shiqing stopped her. Su Jie, come here and wash my hair, Lin Shiqing said immediately. Su Jie was stunned when he heard this. Me, I'm not a professional. Whatever technique you need to wash your hair, how you usually wash your hair is how you wash my hair. Lin Shiqing said speechlessly. Can this vibranium-level straight man be a little tougher? It is simply incomprehensible to the extreme. Su Jie walked over, and Heater smiled when he saw this. Then come on, your girlfriend is beautiful. Thank you, Su Jeppy responded with a smile, and then took the showerhead from Heather's hand. Although Heather's appearance is not bad, compared with Su Jie, she is still weaker. Sitting next to Lin Shiqing, looking at Lin Shiqing from a bird's eye view gives me a different feeling. It is very different from the normal attitude. But no matter from which angle you look at it, Lin Shiqing is flawless, without any flaws. Su Jie looked a little dazed. Dazzled by beauty. What are you looking at? Wash it quickly. Lin Shiqing felt a little uncomfortable being stared at by Su Jie and couldn't help but urge. Su Jie came back to his senses and nodded, okay. After adjusting the temperature of the shower head, Su Jie tried it with his hands first. It felt okay, and then he poured water on Lin Shiqing's head. Is this water temperature okay? Su Jie asked. It's okay, that's all. Lin Shiqing lay on the shampoo bed with her eyes closed. Su Jie began to rub Lin Shiqing's head, massaging it carefully before applying shampoo. This is actually of no use. As a vampire, there is no dandruff and no secretions. There is at most a little dust on the scalp, and it can be washed very clean by running water through it once. Lin Shiqing felt so comfortable being massaged by Su Jie that she couldn't help but hum. It would be better if it was outside the barber shop. There are more people, the space is open, and the sound is relatively noisy. But this is the barber shop of the Supreme VIP. There are only Heather and 4 other people in the whole room. So this soft hum was directly heard by everyone present. The key is that Lin Shiqing doesn't know it. As long as I am not embarrassed, others will be embarrassed. Su Jie is a shameless person, so he doesn't care. He even sighed secretly in his heart. It sounds good, I like it, I will listen to it more in the future. Who can resist the moans of a girl like Lin Shiqing? I'm afraid there are only monks, right? Not even a monk, I'm afraid. It is precisely because of this that Su Jie, the 6th child, became addicted to massage. The massage lasted nearly 10 minutes. Everyone present was stunned. Ji Yushu also whispered to Zhang Zilin. The sound is so nice, it feels like I'm watching a shoujo show. Zhang Zilin deeply agrees. So the two began to discuss shoujo fan again, and the conversation continued. Kui Shaoxi and Yi Exener sitting aside were speechless. At the same time, I had a deeper impression of the second dimension. It's true that everything can be connected to the second dimension. I admire you. Heather was not in a hurry. He sat on the chair next to him and played with his mobile phone. A barber at his level doesn't have to worry about efficiency at all. As long as big customers like Lin Shiqing are served well, money will be indispensable. The money earned by serving Lin Shiqing in one session was even more than what a barber outside could earn in a week's hard work. Lin Shiqing also felt that Su Jie's massage was a little too long. She opened her eyes and looked at Su Jie with doubts. Is it time for you to shampoo? Su Jie woke up from a dream and listened so much that he suddenly lost track of time. Oh, it's true. Su Jie felt a little regretful and said, you can leave it to me to wash your hair from now on. Lin Shiqing didn't know why, thinking that this guy had a great conscience and wanted to be a warm man. So she accepted it gladly, feeling sweet in her heart. Su-jae put some shampoo on his hands, worked it out into lather, and started to apply it on Lin Shiqing's head. After washing, rinse away the foam, and Heather on the side reminded. Remember to apply a little care solution, so that you can reduce the damage to your hair when you dye your hair later. Su-jae nodded and applied the care solution to Lin Shiqing again. After the hair washing session was over, Su-jae went to the rest area and became a crowd pleaser. Lin Shiqing's hair dyeing journey took a lot of time. Because the champagne gray is very light, it needs to be bleached and dyed repeatedly, which made Su-jae look at it for a while. I didn't expect that dyeing hair would be quite troublesome. Su-jae thought that as long as he applied hair dye on it, everything would be fine. In fact, dyeing your hair is more time-consuming than you think. During this period, Kui Shaoxi and Yi Exner were bored, so they chatted with Su-jae. Do you usually eat with Lin Shiqing? What does she eat? Yi Exner asked curiously. Su-jae was stunned for a moment, thought for a while, and replied, he will eat everything, this kid is not picky about food. Really, we haven't had dinner with her yet, Kui Shaoxi said in surprise. Su-jae smiled and said, really? She actually likes to eat alone, not together. That's it. Kui Shaoxi was not suspicious. After all, one person has one habit. Yi Exner moved closer to Su-jae. Let me ask you something. How did you meet Zhao King, and how did you two get together? Su-jae looked embarrassed and didn't know where to start. You can't honestly say that Lin Shiqing and she are both vampires, right? Kui Shaoxi on the side quickly grabbed her. Stop being such a gossip. This is someone else's private matter. Why are you asking so many questions? Yi Exner puffed up her cheeks and said helplessly. Okay then, I'll just leave it alone. Su-jae observed the two of them from the side and felt that he had a deeper understanding of their characters. In a word, Kui Shaoxi belongs to the type with big breasts and brains, while Yi Exner is the representative of big breasts and no brains. Kui Shaoxi is very rational in everything and has a high emotional intelligence. In comparison, Yi Exner is a bit childish and naive. Looking sideways at Zhang Zilin, he was actually still chatting with Ji Yu Shuyi. Ji Yu Shuyi's profile is very delicate, her nose is straight up, her glasses are on top, and she is discussing with Zhang Zilin with enthusiasm. This guy is so lucky. Last night, Zhang Zilin returned the 1,000 yuan that Su-jae had lent him. After asking about the source of the money, it turned out that it was given to him by Ji Yu Shuyi. Good guy. Co-author Ji Yu Shuyi is also a rich woman. Su-jae didn't know much about this, but looking at the Chanel and silver rings on Ji Yu Shuyi's hands, they were probably not cheap. The family background is definitely not bad. Seeing that his brother, like him, had avoided detours for decades and found a rich woman who was both beautiful and easy to talk to, he expressed his blessing. By the way, this guy has always been very lucky. Every time he played rock, paper, scissors, he would win, and he would win big or small when playing against landlords. He even missed the college entrance examination and was admitted to Binhai University with very low scores. It's just hard to say how lucky you were when drawing cards. Su-jae had a flash of inspiration. This phenomenon probably follows the law of conservation of luck. If you are too lucky in life, you will be unlucky if you draw cards. After waiting for 3 hours, Lin Shiqing's white hair was finally dyed. At the same time, Heather also trimmed her hair, making her hair long and shawl length, neither too long nor too short. Which side do you think needs to be trimmed? Heather asked softly. No need, this length is just right, I think it's pretty good. Lin Shiqing nodded with satisfaction. Changing your hair color really makes a big difference. Su-jae could hardly move his eyes away. This champagne gray is really the right dye. It's not too white, more like silvery white. This color just suits Lin Shiqing. It is also very suitable for the vampire race. The white-haired vampires are pretty good when you think about it. Lin Shiqing stood up and turned around to show the other 5 people. She looked at Su-jae first. His opinion is undoubtedly the most important. Seeing Lin Shiqing's expectant eyes, Su-jae did not hesitate to praise her. It looks great. Really, this hair color suits you so well. The 4 people next to him also agreed. Lin Shiqing felt relieved. She was also worried that her new hair color would not suit her. The champagne gray hair color makes Lin Shiqing look whiter. But her whiteness is not the kind of sickly paleness, but rather a beautiful white color with some blood color and ruddy color. Soo-jae felt that he was really lucky to be able to find such a wife. Jong Zilin's luck was already good enough, but his luck was obviously better. Lin Shiqing smelled of fragrance. She took Soo-jae's arm, and the two of them prepared to walk out of the barber shop together. Today happens to be the weekend, so the six of us got together. Kui Shaoxi and Yi Exener were preparing to go back to school, and they left together. Ji Yushuyi and Zhang Zilin wanted to continue browsing the two-dimensional peripheral shops in this shopping mall. The two of them were talking and laughing, feeling even more affectionate than Soo-jae and Lin Shiqing. Are you talking about this high-intensity communication about your condition? They are fellow patients, terminally ill with two-dimensional cancer. It's hopeless, just bury it in the ground. Today is the day that Lin Xiaohua comes back. He explained in advance that Soo-jae should come back early. He was going to start tutoring Soo-jae on fighting skills. Therefore, Soo-jae and Lin Shiqing did not stay any longer after dyeing their hair. Instead, Soo-jae drove back to the villa. As for why Soo-jae was driving, the main reason was that Soo-jae was about to start trying to hit the road. I just took the driver's license test and have never been on the road. I almost forgot how to drive. Driving home is also a feeling. Lin Shiqing was sitting in the passenger seat, watching Soo-jae get on the Ring Expressway, still going at a speed of 60 or 70 miles, and couldn't help complaining, "Are you too slow? Can't you go faster? Don't you dare." Quote. Soo-jae was aroused by Lin Shiqing's provocation. He chuckled. "Okay, if you ask me to race, I'll give you a quick look." Lin Shiqing suddenly cheered. "Then you speed up and sprint, let me see your strength." Thanks to his spiritual growth, Soo-jae's control of the vehicle was also meticulous. Even at extremely high speeds, efficient operation can still be maintained. Just step on the accelerator, and the automatic car does not need to be put into gear, and the speed will increase all the way. Go straight to 200 miles. The howling wind could not be heard. Lin Shiqing sat in the passenger seat for the first time, watching others racing, and she suddenly had a different feeling. It seems to be quite fun. Although she wanted to open the window and shout something crazy, Lin Shiqing knew that the window could not be opened. Once turned on, the vehicle will encounter serious problems driving at such high speeds. It can range from wobbly to completely out of control. It was Soo-jae's first time racing, and he felt that he had fallen in love with this feeling. Feeling the roar of the engine, he now understood why Lin Shiqing liked racing so much. It's really fun. It took 20 minutes to reach the Lin family villa. Soo-jae, I really underestimated you. I didn't expect you to be so stable and fast when driving for the first time. Hearing Lin Shiqing's words, Soo-jae smiled crookedly. The 3-year period has arrived, and I no longer keep a low profile. Beautiful girl Lin Shiqing was speechless. Why was her boyfriend becoming more and more useless? After parking the car in the garage, the two got out of the car together. In the distance, Lin Xiaohua watched all this quietly. The two of them are quite happy. Lin Shiqing naturally held Soo-jae's arm. The two of them were perfect for each other. Sighing secretly in his heart, Lin Xiaohua couldn't help but praise. It seems that this son-in-law is pretty good. Ahem. Lin Xiaohua coughed. Soo-jae and Lin Shiqing's figures in the distance immediately froze. Looking up, Lin Shiqing asked quickly, "Dad, why are you here? Your mother said you and Soo-jae went out, so I'll wait for you here for a while." "But why did you dye your hair white? Wasn't the blonde hair good before?" Quote. Although Lin Xiaohua has lived for hundreds of years, he is not the kind of old antique who doesn't know how to adapt. He keeps pace with the times and understands a lot about the culture of young people. I looked at it a few more times with appreciation. Yes, she is indeed my daughter, Lin Xiaohua. Just beautiful. I've had blonde hair for too long, so I want to change it. Dad, do you think this hair looks good? Good looking, good looking. How can my daughter not be good looking? Lin Xiaohua laughed loudly. Soo-jae also laughed a few times. Next moment, Lin Xiaohua stepped forward and patted Soo-jae on the shoulder. You haven't bullied my daughter recently, have you? How is that possible? Dad, I hold my love treasure in my hands every day for fear of falling, and hold it in my mouth for fear of melting. It's too late to take care of it, so how could I bully it? Su-jae hesitated for a moment as to what he should be called, uncle or dad. Thinking about it carefully, it's not a bad idea to call Lin Shiqing dad, after she abducted her and ran away. Lin Xiaohua raised his eyebrows when he heard Su-jae's answer. You still want to put Zhaoqing in your mouth? Su-jae was stunned. I suspect you were driving, but I have no proof. Ah, that's a metaphor. Lin Xiaohua laughed. Just kidding, I see you are nervous. Now communicating with Lin Xiaohua, Su-jae feels much more relaxed. At the beginning, Lin Xiaohua had a relatively stern image and felt difficult to get in touch with. But now, it's all a joke, and he should have gradually accepted himself. Although I don't know what I did to make Lin Xiaohua recognize him. But the result is always good. What he didn't know was that what Lin Xiaohua valued most was whether his son-in-law could treat his daughter well. As long as he is good to his daughter, all his requirements have been met. Lin Xiaohua does not follow the crowd, he is a very real person. Walking into the house, Lin Wen expressed surprise when she saw her daughter's new hair color. But she has the same vision as Lin Xiaohua, and she also thinks it's pretty and trendy. In the evening, a family of 4 sat at the dining table. After drinking the blood, Lin Xiaohua took Su-jae to the basement to prepare to help him train. Su-jae raised his palm slightly. A blood-red energy ball condensed inside, gradually taking shape and getting bigger. It became the size of a basketball, and he waved it and threw it onto the dark blast wall in front of him. Boom! A loud bang echoed and dust flew up. A hole appeared in the blast wall. Your energy ball can break a hole now, it's not easy. Lin Xiaohua said in surprise. Su-jae nodded humbly. It's just a small improvement. He has not tried his best and only used 20% of his strength. This is the highest strength of a normal first-order blood servant. If he exerts himself a little more, Lin Xiaohua should become suspicious. When he becomes a baron, he will be able to reveal his strength. After all, Lin Xiaohua's strength is only that of a baron. If you reveal your strength when you are stronger than him, just find some reasons to explain it. Even if Lin Xiaohua didn't believe it, he had no way to ask. At that time, I was stronger than him, so I could take the initiative. Thinking like this, Su-jae hid his strength. This is an energy ball. How are you mastering the blood flames and blood beams? Lin Xiaohua asked. The progress is similar to that of the energy ball, it's almost the same progress. I feel that once one of them learns it, the other two will quickly become proficient. Quote. Su-jae has practiced for so long and figured out some principles. These so-called blood energy attack magics are actually tests of the degree of manipulation of blood energy. Just like making pottery, it actually means kneading the soil into the desired shape. If you learn to make one kind of pottery, it will be much easier to make pottery of other shapes. Just follow the gourd and draw the scoop. The more proficient you are with blood energy, the easier it will be to perform blood energy attacks. It's really good to understand this truth. Lin Xiaohua agreed. Blood energy is a very wonderful existence. It is like a gift from the creator to the vampires. In addition to the attack magic just now, it can also be transformed into various shapes. As he spoke, Lin Xiaohua transformed the blood energy in his hand into a blood sword. The bloody sword was steep, and the blood on it shone brightly, making it look terrifying. Su-jae felt such fluctuations and had no doubt that if Lin Xiaohua took the blood sword to him, he would definitely die. There was absolutely no chance of survival. Is this the strength of the Baron? There is a huge difference in realm, indeed a huge difference. However, Su-jae felt relieved when he thought that he could reach this level within a month or 2 at most. Take your time and there will always be success. There's still this. Lin Xiaohua transformed the blood energy in his hand into a knife, a dagger, even an armor, a hat. You can change whatever you want. Lin Xiaohua said with the corners of his mouth raised. 2 words suddenly appeared in Su-jae's mind. Do-chi turns into a horse. Do-chi turns into wings. Another joke flashed through my mind. It seems that this blood energy is similar to fighting spirit. But it is normal to say that it is indeed reasonable for such strange energy to be condensed into items. It's so reasonable. Don't be stunned, try it. Lin Xiaohua looked at Su-jae. Su-jae raised his hand and gathered the blood energy in the blood pill into the palm of his hand. Following Lin Xiaohua's appearance, it began to condense. The first item he wanted to condense was a dagger. There is no other reason, because the dagger is smaller and less difficult. The blood energy was gathered together, but Sujay suddenly found that it was difficult to transform it into shape in detail. In other words, I can only roughly gather the blood energy into some rectangular, circular and other entities. But when he wanted to condense it into an object, he couldn't achieve it at all. The blood energy in his hand lost control and scattered directly. Lin Xiaohua smiled. As expected, you really can't do it. Sujay shook his head helplessly. It's really difficult. This is normal. Blood energy is a symbol of the Baron. Do you know why the Baron can fly in the sky? That's because he can turn blood energy into wings. Lin Xiaohua's explanation made Sujay even more fascinated by the realm of Baron. I also have to play with the whole Baron. Blood can turn into matter, which is interesting to think about. Sujay. Lin Xiaohua's voice suddenly became deeper. In total, you have not been in contact with Zhao King for a long time, right? It's only been a month. Sujay nodded. Absolutely. When I first met you, I was not optimistic about you and put some pressure on you. I didn't expect you to adapt completely, and your relationship with Zhao King became deeper and deeper. Now that things have come to this, I also want you to have the ability to protect Zhao King. Quote. His palms flew, and a bottle of crystal red potion appeared in Lin Xiaohua's hand. The primary blood-quenching magic potion contains concentrated blood essence of the vampires, which can bring the purity of your bloodline to a small level. Although it still cannot make your bloodline purity reach the level of Zhao King, there is some progress at least. You have to understand that I have good intentions and must strengthen my strength. Do you understand? Quote. Lin Xiaohua's eyes became profound and he handed the blood-quenching potion to Sujay. Sujay got the blood-quenching potion, but found that the originally small bottle could only hold 100 milliliters at most, but he didn't expect it to weigh several kilograms. This means that the liquid is incredibly dense. Absolutely good stuff. In his mind, a logo appeared. Elementary blood-quenching potion. Effect. Tempering and fusing the blood essence in the body, improving blood purity to a certain extent. Evaluation. Don't waste a drop of this treasure that improves blood purity. Sujay was a little confused. The words given to Lin Xiqing will increase her strength to a higher level, and may be able to help her a lot. Logically speaking, this kind of thing should be given to the strong first, making the strong stronger, and it will have a much greater effect than giving it to the weak. But Lin Xiaohua chose to give it to himself. Aware of Sujay's confused eyes, Lin Xiaohua spoke calmly. Giving this to Zhao King, it won't help her much. Her bloodline is relatively pure to begin with. What she needs is the bloodline advancement potion, to advance to the purity of the 12th generation bloodline. Lin Xiaohua didn't know that Lin Xiqing's bloodline had reached the 12th generation of blood purity. If he was told, he would probably jump in fright. Sujay pretended to be confused and nodded. I see. The blood-quenching potion in hand can only bring about quantitative changes, but cannot promote qualitative changes. Only the bloodline advanced magic potion can promote qualitative change. Zhao King is a girl. As a man, you don't have the strength to protect your beloved girl. Isn't it a very sad thing? I know that words such as, eat soft food, are popular among young people nowadays, but I always feel that a man should have a man's responsibility and a man's courage. Quote. Lin Xiaohua's voice was not loud, even a little deep, but it was extremely clear. If you want to become strong, I can help you and do everything I can. I hope you have the strength to protect Zhao King. Things are not peaceful at home and abroad right now, and there are too many unknowns. Quote. Lin Xiaohua sighed, his face heavy. Sujay's expression also became serious. Are those vampires from the west attacking again? Sujay asked. Hearing Sujay's words, Lin Xiaohua shook his head. They won't be coming for a while. At this time, they have too much to take care of themselves. Too much trouble to take care of. Sujay was confused. Werewolves began to spread in the west. Many vampires were attacked, and some large families were seriously hurt. Lin Xiaohua turned his head and looked at Sujay. You probably don't know about the existence of werewolves, right? I've only seen them once. There are basically no traces of werewolves in the country. The West is the birthplace of werewolves, who rely on absorbing moonlight to strengthen themselves. In the past hundreds of years, werewolves have been in a dormant state, but now they have strong power and dare to openly confront the vampires. Quote, Soo-jae has always imagined the extraordinary power in this world. He has heard of werewolves from many movies or novels, but he did not expect that they still exist in reality. Sure enough, novels and movies may really be projections of reality. What does a werewolf look like? Soo-jae asked curiously. More than 100 years ago, I met a werewolf. It was a moonlit night, and the werewolf's silver hair was disheveled, his face looked like a wolf, and his muscles stretched out his clothes, which was very exaggerated. He walked upright, the claws on his hands were very sharp, and he was extremely fast. I don't know why the werewolf appeared in Silver Moon Mountain. Fortunately, his strength was not too strong. Several vampires from the family stepped forward and killed him. Lin Xiaohua said. Soo-jae swallowed. Werewolves are the natural enemies of the vampires, and now the situation in the West is bound to become tense. Perhaps because he read a lot of fantasy novels and animations in his early years, Soo-jae became excited about the existence of werewolves. He hadn't fought for a long time, and the blood in his body was flowing again. We must improve our strength quickly to have the confidence to fight. Besides werewolves, are there other powerful beings? Soo-jae couldn't help but ask. Of course there are magicians, witches and the like in the West, but they are not that many. I have never seen them at all. I only heard them mentioned by the elders of the older generation. There are also zombies and monsters in the country, but the number is not too large, and they are in a state of mutual checks and balances with the vampires. In today's world, human civilization is the mainstream, and we, the rare ethnic groups, are hidden in invisible places. Quote, after Soo-jae heard about zombies, he was immediately interested. Zombies can be called Eastern vampires. They also suck human blood and can be transmitted by biting humans. However, due to stereotypes, zombies generally do not look very good looking. By the way, Soo-jae suddenly remembered that when Zhang Zilin played the game called Yuenshin before, he said that one of the characters was a zombie. She is also a zombie loli, apparently named Chi-Chi. Maybe there are some good-looking ones among the zombies. It's not impossible. They say zombies may not be very intelligent. Is that true? Soo-jae asked. After hearing this, Lin Xiaohua explained. From lowest to highest, zombies are purple zombies, white zombies, green zombies, hairy zombies, flying zombies, wandering zombies, prone zombies, and non-bone zombies. In the early stage, the intelligence of zombies is indeed very low. Basically it's a beast. But as the level increases, around Fei Zheng, the intelligence will be comparable to that of humans. As for advancing further, the intelligence will only become stronger and stronger. Quote. Soo-jae nodded suddenly. So that's it. Under Lin Xiaohua's introduction, he felt that his understanding of the world was much deeper. The vampires are not alone. There are all kinds of strange ethnic groups hiding in the darkness in this world. Soo-jae was suddenly curious about a question. He asked, with so many strange creatures, why is it so safe in the city? There are basically no attacks. Are these events well hidden? There is some other reason why it is not known to the world. Quote. Lin Xiaohua heard this and replied, human safety is not that simple. It's not like humans don't have countermeasures. Since the Creator has created so many ethnic groups, he has given them great power. As humans, the leader of all things, how can the Creator not give some gifts? Quote. After a pause, Lin Xiaohua continued, human potential is infinite, but it is extremely difficult to realize full potential. If the potential development process is compared to opening a lock, it is the way for human beings to become stronger. This is the potential lock. The Creator places a shackle on the human body. If you want to become stronger, you must break the shackles. As the development potential gradually increases, some special functions will even be born. The world calls him extraordinary. Quote, extraordinary ones. Soo-jae was surprised. There are no immortal cultivators in this world, right? Lin Xiaohua couldn't stand it anymore and said with a smile, do you really wonder if you have read too many fantasy novels? You have to know one thing, to cultivate immortality you must at least have spiritual energy, right? But now, there is no spiritual energy on Blue Star. Now is the veritable age of the end of Dharma. Maybe there were traces of immortal cultivators a long time ago, but now, there is absolutely no such thing as one. Quote. Su-jae understood. There are many extraordinary and powerful beings in this world, but there is no imaginary civilization of cultivating immortals. Su-jae became interested in this human group of extraordinary beings. So according to you, it's the supernatural beings who protect humans secretly. Yes, there is a paranormal organization across Blue Star, which is the Paranormal Association. As a balancer for all special ethnic groups in the world, the Extraordinary Association has signed treaties with all special ethnic groups thousands of years ago, prohibiting the massacre of humans on a large scale. Once a similar situation occurs, the Extraordinary Association will unite with other special ethnic groups and attack in groups. Quote. Su-jae realized the implication. If there is no large-scale massacre, then a small-scale massacre will be enough. A small number of humans is fine. After all, the Extraordinary Association doesn't have that much energy to track down. As long as they look passable on the surface, Lin Xiaohua replied. Actually, the top leaders of various countries are well aware of the Extraordinary Association and other special ethnic groups. Really? Su-jae was surprised again. But you can understand it as a secret that cannot be told, otherwise it will trigger a large-scale human panic riot, and in the end there will be no fun. Lin Xiaohua said. Without humans, who will make things? Who can provide blood to the vampires? Who can build buildings? Without humans, there would be no such advanced and developed science and technology as modern times, mobile phones would no longer exist, and there would be no electricity. It would be equivalent to returning to the farming era all of a sudden. Which is more comfortable, the agricultural era or modern society? It must be modern society. Without mobile phones and various means of transportation, everything would be a problem. This planet cannot be without humans. Quote. Su-jae's eyes flickered. Countless special ethnic groups are like worms, constantly sucking blood from humans. But this is normal. The law of the jungle is the cornerstone of the entire natural world. Human beings are sucked by these special ethnic groups, and they are the victims. But everyone knows that humans are also killing animals. Second brother, Zian, fish, cattle, sheep, and all kinds of animals on the dinner table have been killed in captivity or hunted. Do those animals deserve to be eaten by humans? Obviously not. Just like human beings do not deserve to be killed and exploited by special ethnic groups. The strong want to dominate the weak, which makes no sense. The Holy Mother was probably unbearable at this time, and even wanted to stand on the side of humans, raising her arms and shouting that all special ethnic groups should not exploit humans. Su-jae is not a Holy Mother. He feels that this is how it should be. It's not that he is cold-blooded, but that this is the nature of the world. Giving up childish ideas and facing reality is the only way to maturity. The attribute panel in his mind made Su-jae's emotions surge. Just now Lin Xiaohua mentioned extraordinary beings, which are the ways for human beings to advance. He has two forms, one of which is human. Does that mean he can also become a transcendent? I just don't know what special abilities extraordinary people have. How do your own attribute points translate into the level of a transcendent? Turning his questioning eyes to Lin Xiaohua, Su-jae said, I want to know some information about the extraordinary beings. Tonight, Lin Xiaohua had decided to tell Su-jae everything, telling him everything he knew and answering many of his questions. Regarding this issue, Lin Xiaohua did not hide his secrets. As I said just now, extraordinary people unlock and develop their own abilities. The first state is also called the potential lock. There are 9 levels in total, followed by the potential lock. In this state, you can awaken your own unique intentions. Function. Such as freezing time, mind control, telepathy, etc., there are many. You should also see that this potential lock realm corresponds to the last generation of vampires, and the potential lock corresponds to my realm, which is the Baron. Quote. Seeing Lin Xiaohua stop talking, Su-jae asked, what about the next realm? The following. I only know that the next realm is called spirit transformation, which involves developing the ability of the spirit and soul. As for the realms that follow, it seems to be the universe, the sea of spirits, the origin, and the way of life. It's a mouthful, but actually you just need to understand it, there's no need to remember it. The realm after that will not have much to do with you or me. At this stage, it is impossible to come into contact with such a powerful extraordinary being. The world is quite balanced now. No major conflicts will break out, and there are no opportunities for contact. Quote. Soo-jae nodded, his understanding of the realm of extraordinary beings deepening. All in all, this world is really amazing. As a human being, I never imagined that there were so many unknowns in the shadows of the world. By the way, you said just now that the situation in the country is unclear. What is the situation now? Lin Xiaohua's eyes became solemn. Some werewolves came here from the west. They came with great force. Another blood family in the country suffered a huge impact. They were the first, but they are by no means the last. But at least there is a clue. Only during the full moon can the werewolf's strength reach its peak. They will also choose to sneak attack at that time. At other times, they will not have an advantage if they attack. You don't have to worry now. We are all relatively safe in the city. Quote. Soo-jae nodded. As we talked, time passed quietly. Looking at the time, it was already past 9 o'clock. Lin Xiaohua told Soo-jae to keep the blood-quenching potion given to him and drink it at night. Soo-jae nodded and was about to leave, but was held back by Lin Xiaohua. There is one thing you have to promise me. What? Soo-jae's expression froze. You and Zhao King try not to do unspeakable things. But if you really want it to happen, don't take protective measures. Quote. After hearing this, Soo-jae was stunned. I wondered if Lin Xiaohua was telling the opposite. Shouldn't we take protective measures? Ahem, Dad, did you say something wrong? Shouldn't you have taken protective measures? I'm not wrong. Do you really think you can fall in love with Zhao Qinghua casually? Lin Xiaohua shook his head. The pregnancy rate of the vampire itself is very low. It may not succeed even once in 100 times. Don't be overconfident. I also hope that Zhao King can get pregnant and give birth to a new vampire, which will also be the new strength of the family. But after all, you and Zhao King have known each other not long ago, so it is not good for this to happen too early. I think you should get to know each other more deeply and wait until the right time. In addition, if you have anything you can't figure out, you can come to me. Zhao King doesn't talk to me very much about what's on her mind. You have to stand by me and tell me if you have any situation. Don't worry, if you have a conflict with Zhao King and it's Zhao King's problem, I will definitely be on your side. But if it's your problem, Lin Xiaohua's eyes flashed coldly. Soo-jae shuddered. I understand, I'm sure nothing will go wrong. Lin Xiaohua patted Soo-jae on the shoulder. I trust you. The atmosphere between the two was harmonious for a while. When they walked out of the basement, they saw Lin Shiqing and Lin Wen sitting on the sofa watching TV. They were talking about Yi Wei. Lin Shiqing expressed regret that Yi Wei and Bai Ying failed. But she believed that with Uncle Yi's charm and his high ability, he would definitely be able to find the target of the information. She even believed that Uncle Yi would not necessarily be limited to finding a partner among the blood servants. You can change the perspective, and you can also choose among humans. When the time comes, it won't be enough to just hug him for the first time, right? Lin Wen expressed her opposition to this and believed that it would be more appropriate to find a blood servant to combine with. In that case, the blood of the child born will be purer. And there is no need for cumbersome first love. First embrace can be very harmful to one's body, and it will damage one's own essence and blood. Seeing Soo-jae and his father coming out, Lin Shiqing stood up immediately. Dad, how is Soo-jae's current technology? Lin Shiqing asked expectantly. She is very clear about Soo-jae's skills. According to his abilities, he should be able to surprise his father. It can be said that there has been great progress, it is simply beyond my imagination. This is true. Regarding Soo-jae's strength, Lin Xiaohua feels that he is actually quite talented, but he suffers because he is a blood servant and his blood is not pure, otherwise his strength would be even stronger. Right. Lin Shiqing took Soo-jae's arm and said proudly. Lin Wen smiled speechlessly when she saw this scene. My daughter is very cold when dealing with strangers. But once he became close to her, he immediately became much more lively and cheerful. Yi Wei didn't know where he was tonight, and he didn't say he would come back. There were only 4 of them left in the huge villa. Beside him are his father-in-law, mother-in-law and his wife. Soo-jae seemed like half an outsider. The 4 vampires sat on the sofa together. A boring celebrity reality show was playing on the TV and they glanced at the script. The potion in Su Jie's hand quickly attracted Lin Shiqing's attention. What is this? Lin Shiqing asked curiously. Before Su Jie could answer, Lin Xiaohua explained, this is the blood-quenching potion to help Xiao Jie improve the purity of his bloodline. Su Jie was a little surprised. Call yourself Xiaoj. Suddenly, Su Jie felt a warmth. My father-in-law is really good. Give yourself support and help, and be considerate of yourself and Lin Shiqing. After all, they are vampires who have lived for hundreds of years. Their state of mind is naturally different from that of ordinary humans. They will not stick to the details and are more tolerant. Lin Wen knew that her husband gave Su Jie the blood-tempering potion, and she supported it. The relationship between Su Jie and Zhao King has deepened. They are still Zhao King's blood servants and can be called family members. It is also necessary to help him improve his strength. Chapter 91. Blood-tempering potion, Lin Shiqing said in surprise. She had also heard of this potion, which was very effective in improving blood purity. And it is also very precious. Why did his father suddenly choose to give Su Jie such a good thing? This surprised her. Zhao King, I agree with the matter between you and Su Jie for the time being, but what will happen in the future depends on whether this boy treats you well or not. Lin Xiaohua said. He was embraced by you for the first time, and his bloodline is not very pure. Giving him the blood-quenching potion is to make his blood essence purer, so that there will be more room for improvement in the future. If you encounter any danger in the future, you will be more calm. Quote. Lin Xiaohua's words moved Lin Shiqing very much. Hugging her father, she thanked him. Dad, I knew you were the best. Okay, stop flattering me and go get Su Jie to take this blood-quenching potion. Lin Xiaohua felt a little bleeding in his heart. He used one of the few blood crystals in his family to exchange for this blood-tempering potion with a member of his own clan. Blood crystals can be embedded in weapons, or made into necklaces, bracelets and other accessories, which can increase the power of blood energy. Blood crystals are naturally formed and there are not many of them. Using such a treasure in exchange for the blood-quenching potion would even be a small loss. But there is no way. Who makes Su Jie his son-in-law? If you don't care about him, who else will care about him? So in the end Lin Xiaohua changed. Okay Dad. Lin Shiqing smiled sweetly and then held Su Jie's hand. Let's go. Su Jie said goodbye to his father-in-law and mother-in-law. Dad, Mom, I'm leaving now. The two of them went back to the room together. Lin Xiaohua looked at the backs of the two people and shook his head helplessly. Lin Wen on the side said, Hey, looking at their sweet looks, it really reminds me of our time. Lin Xiaohua couldn't help but nodded. Yes, we were so tired at the time. We would hold hands when we went back to the room. One of us would hold our hand in front, and the other would walk behind. Lin Wen patted Lin Xiaohua on the shoulder, and then lay next to his ear. It probably didn't work last time. Let's try again tonight. You just came back, so we have to try more. Lin Xiaohua instantly understood what Lin Wen meant. It is a matter of giving birth to a new vampire. Lin Xiaohua's interest in this sport has not diminished and his desire is very strong. He is still very young, at around 400 years old, he is still the junior among the juniors among the barons. Baron Gao, the last generation of the vampire clan, has a great realm and has a lifespan of 2,000 years. Calculated, Lin Xiaohua is equivalent to a human being in his 20s or 30s, or even younger. He picked up Lin Wen and the two were inseparable. Lin Wen was full of the charm of a mature woman, and the two of them kissed and walked towards the bedroom on the second floor. In the room at this time, Su Jie and Lin Shiqing were already sitting beside the bed. Should I drink it now or wait? Su Jie hesitated. Lin Shiqing on the side rubbed her chin. You can drink it now, it will definitely be good for you anyway. Su Jie can't understand one thing now. That is what level his blood purity belongs to. First of all, his ability to become a vampire is given by the system. From this perspective, he is a vampire. But according to the fluctuations of his blood, the purity of his blood cannot be that high. A generation of vampires, my god, that's Cain's level. As good as the gods. With a wave of his hand, he can kill countless people. But obviously, he doesn't have that kind of strength. The purity of the blood in Su Jie's body is, at best, equivalent to that of a 13th generation vampire. He realized something again. That is, as your attribute points increase, the purity of your bloodline increases. This range depends on how much the attribute points are improved. Perhaps the purity of my bloodline is also linked to attribute points. Su-jae said to himself. Attribute points are the source of all strength and the basic unit of all abilities. Looking at Lin Shiqing, Su-jae said, according to my calculations, if I drink this bottle of blood-quenching potion, my attribute points should also increase. Very simple logic. Attribute points affect bloodline purity, and the improvement of bloodline purity will also have a reaction on attribute points. The two are interdependent and go hand in hand. If that's the case, your attributes will be improved again, Lin Shiqing said longingly. And most importantly, your blood quality will improve again. For Lin Shiqing, Su-jae's blood is like a panacea and the key to improving her strength. That's for sure. The quality of my blood will increase linearly with the attribute points. Su-jae suddenly remembered what Lin Xiaohua mentioned when he was in the basement, the strongest among humans, the extraordinary. By the way, Qing Bao, have you ever heard of a transcendent? Transcendent. I seem to have some impression. It is said that there are potential locks and other realm divisions, but I am not very clear about the specifics. Lin Shiqing replied. I'm thinking, in my human form, my attribute points have also transformed me into a transcendent in the corresponding realm. According to previous investigations, my vampire realm advances every 50 attribute points. That is to say, when the average attribute point value is between 1 and 50, I am the last generation of the first level vampire, and so on, every 50 points increase the level by 1 level. If converted this way, now I am not only the last generation of the third level vampire, but also a transcendent with the third level potential lock. Quote. The more Su-jae thought about it, the more likely it seemed. In fact, realm is a title, a standard for judging one's own strength. The actual division must be reflected accordingly. Vampires rely on looking at the moon sign on the blood elixir to determine their realm. And extraordinary people probably have ways to determine their own realm. Punching power, speed, reaction. Just use some modern instruments to confirm. Will there even be blood value? An existence that can often be seen in Gao Wu's novels. Su-jae didn't know that much either. When he was in the basement just now, he asked Lin Xiaohua. Lin Xiaohua said that he had never come into contact with any extraordinary beings and did not know much about them. But what he can be sure of is that in the potential lock stage, the extraordinary person only enhances his own physique and does not have any special magical energy. Only when you reach the potential lock stage, you may unlock some elemental attack methods and special functions. But don't underestimate the extraordinary beings in the potential lock-up stage. Relying on their strong individual qualities and using modern offensive weapons, they may not necessarily lose to vampires of the same realm or other special ethnic groups. The power of technology is great. Lin Shiqing's eyes flickered. She had also seen Su-jae's physical ability, and he was indeed very fast. By the way, Uncle Yi seems to know a little more about extraordinary people. His previous blood lord Lin Meng had fought against extraordinary beings. If you have a deeper understanding of extraordinary beings, you can ask him. Quote. Lin Shiqing said suddenly. Su-jae's eyes lit up. Okay, after Butler Yi comes back, I will ask him. Su-jae turned his attention to the blood-quenching potion in his hand and prepared to drink it. He was looking forward to seeing how many attribute points this magic potion could help him improve. Let me open it for you. Lin Shiqing took the blood-tempering potion from Su-jae's hand. Opening the lid of the potion, a burst of blood quickly poured out. Su-jae took a breath and suddenly felt an unprecedented sense of comfort. After the blood was sucked into his body, it nourished his body. Just one breath can have such an effect. If you drink it into your body, the effect should be stronger, right? Lin Shiqing brought the blood-tempering potion to Su-jae's mouth, and suddenly an idea flashed across her face. Changing her tone to a soft tone, she comforted him. Da Lang, take the medicine. Su-jae looked at Lin Shiqing in confusion. Question mark. Did he hear it correctly? Da Lang, drink up quickly. Lin Shiqing couldn't hold herself any longer. Su-jae had a dark look on his face. This guy must have watched some messy short video again. He raised his hand to give her a blow. But after thinking about it, this is my girlfriend, what should I do if she runs away? Forget it, let's not fight. Su-jae pinched Lin Shiqing's ears and said, stop watching short videos from now on. See what you have learned. Lin Shiqing said, I just think it's fun. Lin Shiqing became different from before, and there was still a little bit of reflection. That is, now he is even better at playing tricks and joking. This is quite good, at least it makes contact with her a lot easier. Su-jae raised his hand and drank the blood-tempering potion in one gulp. My body felt hot for a moment, lasting for more than a minute, and there was a fire burning in my belly. The body made a few soft noises. Then there was no feeling at all. Su-jae waited for a minute or two, but found that the effect of the medicine seemed to have ended. Looking up at his attribute points, he found that his attributes had only increased by 10 points. Host, Su-jae. Power, 132. Spirit, 134. Speed, 133. Defense, 130. Skills, Time Stop, Elementary, Transformation into Vampire, Blood Devouring. No wonder I don't feel anything big. If this attribute point increases by 10 points, he usually won't have any particularly serious reaction. Only when it suddenly increases by 20 points, or even more, will he feel more painful and have to go through the process of poor discharge. Lin Shiqing was also a little surprised. Have you finished your promotion? Su-jae nodded. Indeed. Lin Shiqing's eyes widened. So fast. Maybe it's because I've done so many lifts before that my body is used to it, so the reaction isn't that big, Su-jae explained. How much have your attribute points increased? 10 points. Su-jae replied, my current average attribute value has exceeded 130. This is surprising. I am now only 20 points away from being able to advance to the 4th level and become the last vampire. Every level of 50, when the average value exceeds 150, it is the 4th level vampire. Your strength is about to catch up with mine. Lin Shiqing couldn't believe it. I have a question to ask you. How is your realm progressing now that you are sucking my blood? Su-jae asked, is it fast to break through the realm? In other words, when will you become a 5th level vampire? He was a little worried about one thing, that is, his strength was developing rapidly, but Lin Shiqing was left behind. That's not good. He prefers that the two of them break through the realm together and maintain a relatively balanced state. I can't tell you this very accurately, but with your current blood quality, it will take at least a month or two for me to reach the next small realm. So slow. Su-jae held his head. Brother, this is not slow at all. If I were allowed to practice by myself, it would take me at least several years, or even more than 10 years. Lin Shiqing said speechlessly, you think the realm is like Chinese cabbage? Quote. Su-jae was stunned. In fact, it was because he broke through the realm too quickly that he had this illusion. It is very difficult for ordinary vampires to improve their strength. The curtains were opened at this time, and the moonlight shone in the room. Lin Shiqing's body exuded a faint white glow. This is the power contained in her absorption of moonlight. In addition to sucking blood, vampires can also improve their strength by bathing in moonlight. This is also the reason why Lin Shiqing's curtains must be opened at night. Unless it is cloudy, the curtains will not be closed as long as there is moonlight. When vampires are exposed to moonlight, they can increase their strength. But this increase in strength is actually a bit small, and can only be accumulated over many years. Su-jae himself is human, so he is not enthusiastic about the act of bathing in the moonlight. But according to Lin Shiqing, vampires have a natural affinity for the moonlight. When the moonlight covers your body, you will feel extremely peaceful. Moonlight is essentially the refraction of sunlight. Why do vampires hate sunlight but like moonlight? This is a question worth thinking about. Perhaps it is because the wavelengths of moonlight and sunlight are different, so moonlight has a certain mutation, and it is more favored by nocturnal ethnic groups such as the vampires. The two slowly got on the bed, hugging each other. Vampires will only enter the coffin when they are sleeping or during the day. You want to bathe in the moonlight at night, so sleeping in bed is the most suitable. Lin Shiqing's body was soft, with a faint fragrance, and her hair rested on the tip of Su-jae's nose. During the kiss, Su-jae hugged her neck. Lin Shiqing's head rested on Su-jae's shoulder. They enjoyed the silence of the moment. Hum. Gasping. A quick groan broke the silence of the night. Su Jie and Lin Shiqing were instantly confused, and the body became stiff. Is it Lin Xiaohua and his wife who are carrying out a campaign to breed a new blood clan? One cannot, or at least should not. Logically speaking, there were several walls between them and they were still far away, so they shouldn't have heard it. But the bad thing is that they are vampires and have very keen hearing. Su Jie realized when he looked at Lin Shiqing. It was time to install thick soundproof walls in his and Lin Shiqing's house. Otherwise, what should they do if they do something bad and Lin Xiaohua and his wife hear the news? At the same time, he also avoided hearing the indescribable voices of his father-in-law and mother-in-law. Su Jie didn't have any messy habits. He would only feel ashamed when he heard this kind of voice. In order to prevent their voices from reaching the ears of Lin Xiaohua and his wife and causing their pregnancy plan to fail, Su Jie and Lin Shiqing took out their mobile phones in tacit understanding. Su Jie, your parents have a really good relationship. They have a really good relationship. Lin Shiqing, it's really strange. They never did this before. Why so often recently? I still remember the night when Su Jie and her established their relationship a few days ago. We bumped into each other once, on the sofa in the living room. Su Jie, maybe I want to give you a younger brother or sister. Lin Shiqing, really, I'm really looking forward to it. Su Jie, it's just that you vampires have been giving birth for too long. It can take more than 10 or 20 years. If you want to see them, it will take a long, long time. Lin Shiqing, that's true, there's no way. After a pause, she continued to send a message. If I am reborn in the next life, I will still be a human being. Su Jie turned his head and looked at Lin Shiqing's side face, expressing doubts. Typing. Why? Why would you want to be human when vampires have so long to live and so much power? Lin Shiqing. Living too long is not necessarily a good thing. In fact, it is better to spend your life like a human being and experience a rich and colorful life in a few decades. As time goes by, life becomes boring and empty. Su Jie suddenly understood. Maybe this is the siege. Human beings want to pursue immortality and hope to never grow old. However, the vampires find immortality boring and hope to experience a limited life. People outside the city want to go in, and people in the city want to go out. When you are really in the other person's situation, you will feel that this is not as good as you thought. Everything has two sides. Su Jie, when you really become a human, you won't think so. When you don't have it, you think about having it, but when you actually have it, you will find a lot of shortcomings. Life, old age, illness and death are okay if you live in a rich family, but if you have no money, it will be really hard. Lin Shiqing, you were right. Indeed, I only thought of the benefits of being a human before. The two chatted about other things, and after waiting for 30 minutes, the voices from Lin Xiaohua and his wife finally disappeared. Su Jie cursed. He is really getting stronger with age. It took so long. Su Jie expressed his admiration and was curious about how long he could persist now. He is a little virgin without any energy in that area. He has never eaten meat before, so he naturally doesn't know his true strength. When the sun rose, Su Jie slowly opened his eyes. Last night he and Lin Shiqing fell asleep hugging each other. The sun was very dazzling. Su Jie knew that Lin Shiqing didn't like the sun, so he got off the bed and closed the curtains. Lin Shiqing opened her hazy eyes and stretched out her arms. Hug. When Su Jie heard Lin Shiqing's soft voice, he felt like his bones were going to go brittle. He hugged Lin Shiqing and kissed her face. Hug baby. Su Jie said softly while complaining in his heart. Why am I so disgusting? Vomit. There was a knock on the door. Lin Wen's voice came. Zhao King, Xiaoj, get up and drink blood. Su Jie and Lin Shiqing responded quickly, okay. Lin Wen outside the door smiled and shook her head. How do you feel that you really have a son-in-law? It's so sudden, and a little uncomfortable. Lin Shiqing was still lying on Su Jie's body, bedridden. Get up soon, your mother is here to call you. Su Jie touched Lin Shiqing's little head and said. Lin Shiqing raised her head and raised the corners of her mouth. Kiss me again and I'll get up. Su Jie had never kissed Lin Shiqing's mouth before. At this moment, he impulsively kissed her directly. Ha, Lin Shiqing wanted Su Jie to kiss her face, but unexpectedly Su Jie kissed her directly on the lips. Generally, when humans wake up, their mouths smell bad. But the vampires don't have this problem. There will be a fresh fragrance in your mouth at any time, and there will be no weird odor. Su Jie was not so bold, he just pecked Lin Shiqing lightly when she didn't notice. Naturally, he didn't stick out his tongue. Lin Shiqing immediately became energetic. She sat up from the bed and covered her mouth in surprise. My first kiss. Su Jie couldn't help but blinked. Well, actually this is my first kiss. You're bad, why didn't you tell me in advance? I also thought about having a candlelight dinner on a romantic evening. We wore beautiful dresses and then kissed. It's fine now, there's nothing left. Quote. Lin Shiqing said angrily, with little pearls about to flow from the corners of her eyes. Su Jie didn't expect Lin Shiqing to think so much. He just moved up to her and kissed her. I didn't think much about it at all. Then let's just pretend this time doesn't count. Su Jie said. How could it not count? You even kissed me. Lin Shiqing suppressed her voice to avoid being heard by outsiders. It's morning now, not as quiet as the night. Therefore, some sounds may not be heard clearly by parents. Listen to me, a real first kiss requires sticking your tongue into the other person's mouth. I didn't stick my tongue in, so everything hadn't reached the point of no return yet. Quote. What Su Jie said was clear and logical. Lin Shiqing suspected that he was talking nonsense, but there was no evidence. Believe me, a real kiss requires sticking out the tongue. Lin Shiqing's expression softened. Well, I believe you for the time being, but you are not allowed to do this again. I want to save the first kiss for a romantic opportunity, not now. Lin Shiqing is actually a little girl, a 180-year-old girl. So she will look forward to some romantic scenes like other girls. She wanted a sense of ceremony. Okay, Su Jie nodded, respecting Lin Shiqing's idea on this point. It's okay to be romantic. The two of them didn't take off their clothes. They were both wearing clothes when they went to bed last night. After washing their faces for a while, the two of them walked out of the room. I have to say that Lin Shiqing's bare makeup is really invincible. Smooth skin is completely different from applying liquid foundation and powder. The eyes are big, the bridge of the nose is straight and small, and the lips are very red. Even if you don't wear lipstick, you won't look bad. Pure and beautiful, like an angel. It's not like in many short videos, where they are completely different people without makeup and makeup. She has good looks and can kill without makeup. Su Jie heard comments coming from there on the way to the dining table. I heard from the family's informant in Binhai that the Western vampires have appeared in the west of the city. The 3 or 4 Western vampires are a bit strong, at the 6th or 7th level. They seem to have been injured and temporarily stayed at the Dole Hotel. If you have nothing to do, don't go there to avoid danger. I really want to go over there and clear them out, but I really can't get away recently. My family has given me a task, so I can't get away. Quote. Lin Xiaohua warned Yi Wei. Looking up and seeing Su Jie and Lin Shiqing, Lin Xiaohua continued, did you hear what I just said? Don't go to the west of the city recently. Don't go out if you have nothing to do. Just stay at home. Su Jie and Lin Shiqing nodded, I understand. Su Jie agreed on the surface, but his heart moved. Maybe you can try it yourself and take the initiative. Having been dormant for so long, he didn't want to let go of such a good opportunity. Lin Wen walked out of the kitchen, holding a transparent glass bottle with clear blood in her hand. Sitting at the dining table, she placed the blood on the table. Su Jie and Lin Shiqing were already seated, and Lin Wen poured a glass of blood for them. During the drinking time, the family sits around the dining table, a rare warmth. Zhaoqing, Xiaoj, is there nothing going on in your school? Even if something happens, don't go out for the time being. Going to school is not that important. Your dad and I have to go out for 2 days to complete a family task. You should stay at home during these 2 days and take care of yourselves. Quote. Lin Wen said while looking at her daughter and Su Jie. I understand, Mom, we are staying at home. We won't go out if nothing happens. Yi Wei said from the side. It's okay, head of the house, and madam, you can go out without worry. I will take care of them at home, and nothing will happen to them. Lin Wen nodded. With you here, I feel relieved. Faming group, another coastal business of the family, has encountered some problems and needs to settle some related matters and related people. Lin Xiaohua and his wife need to go together to sort things out. When dealing with humans, there are only two results, coercion or inducement. It's best if you can induce someone, but if you can't induce someone, then you have to use coercion. The purpose of Lin Xiaohua and Lin Wen's trip is also the same. Let a few key people drink the thrall potion and become the puppets of the family. After the breakfast banquet, Lin Xiaohua and his wife left quickly. They were in a hurry, which showed that the matter this time was more urgent. Yi Wei still had company matters to deal with, so he left quickly after the breakfast dinner. When leaving, he told the two of them to stay at home. Su Jie agreed on the surface, but in his heart he had his own Xiao Juju. Only he and Lin Xiqing were left in the huge villa. He grabbed Lin Xiqing's hand. "There is something we need to discuss," Su Jie said. Lin Xiqing looked puzzled. From the morning, she felt that Su Jie was making some small calculations. "I just don't know what will happen." "What's wrong?" "You heard it just now, the vampires are there at the Dole Hotel." Su Jie said, "I was wondering if it was possible that we could do something." "Ah, but didn't my dad say that they are the last generation of vampires of the 6th and 7th levels? They are so powerful, can we win?" "Didn't your dad just say that they were injured? Their strength must have been weakened. And I also have the skill. The first time I use the time stop skill, I can freeze the 6th level vampire for nearly 10 seconds. At that time, my attributes were only close to 50, but now they have doubled or nearly tripled. The effect of time stopping will also be greatly enhanced. So I think there is still a good chance of winning." Quote. Su Jie calculated the feasibility of this matter in his mind during the breakfast banquet. In the end, I found that it was quite interesting. The most important thing is that now he has the skill of blood swallowing, which can swallow all the vampires he kills. His strength can be improved through this. Maybe he can reach the Barren Realm earlier. Su Jie thought he could give it a try. He doesn't want to be a flower in the greenhouse. If he can fight, he will not refuse. Lin Xiqing lowered her head and thought. After a while, she agreed to Su Jie's request. "Well, then the two of us will work together to bring this matter to a perfect end." Seeing Lin Xiqing agree, Su Jie responded, "I know, the key is that I sometimes stop my skills. This is a great advantage for us." Su Jie's fingers slid on the phone, and he was looking for the location of Dole Hotel. "I only know that the Dole Hotel is in the west of the city, but the details are not clear." After searching on his mobile phone, Su Jie saw that Dole Hotel is surrounded by the urban-rural fringe, which is the suburban area. However, this place is well developed and relatively prosperous. But it's definitely not comparable to the downtown area. This hotel mainly has beautiful scenery and a large park next to it. It is said that it is opened by a foreigner, so the decoration of the suites is relatively Western style and luxurious. As long as it's not in a downtown area, Su Jie is pretty sure. There are many people in the downtown area, and it will be difficult to escape when the time comes. Monitoring is a problem. And I don't know the specific locations of those Western vampires. Now I have to go outside the Dole Hotel and keep a lookout to see if I can find any clues. Su Jie's heart sank again. After all, I'm really not 100% sure. I have to think of a more feasible plan. Su Jie rubbed his chin. No matter what, the premise is that you must ensure your own safety. At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Su Jie and Lin Xiqing were at the milk tea shop opposite the Dole Hotel. While drinking milk tea, they paid attention to the opposite side of the Dole Hotel. At this time, Su Jie was wearing a cap and a mask, disguised. The same goes for Lin Xiqing opposite. The two wanted to be cautious and try not to attract the attention of those around them. It's not an option to keep watching here all the time. Su Jie sighed. He and Lin Xiqing have been watching here all morning and 2 hours, but they have gained nothing. I originally thought that those Western vampires would go out, and they would be very conspicuous. If the two of them followed, they would have things under control. But maybe those Western vampires were too seriously injured, so it seems I need to change my thinking. The turbulent traffic and pedestrians flashed back and forth outside the glass window. Su Jie looked at Lin Xiqing sitting opposite. I have to take the initiative. Lin Shiqing was confused. What do you mean? You wait for me here. I'll go to the hotel and use the vampire's hypnosis skills to see if I can ask anything from the staff. Hearing Su Jie's words, Lin Shiqing said without hesitation, I'll go with you. Then we can still take care of each other. No, there are too many surveillances here. The two of us are a bit too conspicuous. I can go alone. Su Jie shook his head. Don't worry, I will be fine by myself. Lin Shiqing's eyes flickered. After a moment, she nodded. Okay, then I'll wait here for you to come back. Good. Su Jie stood up and walked out of the milk tea shop. There were not many people at the door of Dole Hotel, and the tall and magnificent entrance hall was magnificent. Arriving at the door of the Dole Hotel, a young doorman bowed his head to welcome him. Welcome. Su Jie had already prepared his words. He asked, Can you come with me? I have a lot of luggage in the parking lot that I need to pick up. The parking lot at the Dole Hotel is underground and just a little to the west, so it doesn't take long to get there. One of the doorman's responsibilities is to help guests carry their luggage, so the doorman was not suspicious and nodded to Su Jie. Okay, sir. Under the leadership of Su Jie, the two went to the underground parking lot one after another. Su Jie was about to ask some information from the doorman. If it is a vampire, it will usually be more conspicuous. Besides, they are still Western vampires. Although Dole Hotel is a hotel owned by foreigners, there are not many foreign tourists here. If several white people check in together, they will most likely attract the attention of the doorman. With this in mind, Su Jie finally chose this method. There were not many people at the entrance of the parking lot, which was just conducive to the implementation of Su Jie's plan. The relatively dark parking lot is not as good as the sunny scene outside, and it feels quite eerie. The doorman expressed doubts as the cold light from the overhead lights in the parking lot shone. Sir, where is your car? Su Jie's eyes suddenly flashed red at this moment. He's going to start hypnosis. After the doorman saw Su Jie's eyes turn red, his consciousness immediately became blurred. The corners of Su Jie's mouth turned up slightly. This shows that his hypnosis has worked. Have you seen a few white people coming here in the past few days? Su Jie asked. Yes, 3 white people came the day before yesterday. Their faces were very pale and they looked very sick, but they should not be short of money. They stayed in the top-notch presidential suite. The doorman's words suddenly made Su Jie's eyes light up. Aren't these the 3 Western vampires I'm looking for? I didn't expect things to go so smoothly. Single quote. This can't help but boost Su Jie's confidence. He continued to ask, Do you know which room those white people live in? What is the room number? 1214. The doorman replied confusedly. Su Jie felt happy. Now that the location is determined, it's easy to say a lot. Then he asked the doorman about other details about the hotel. For example, the location of the control room and its internal structure. The doorman has been working in this hotel for 7 or 8 years and is quite familiar with everything in it. He answered Su Jie's questions fluently. Su Jie breathed a sigh of relief after having the matter figured out roughly. Snapping his fingers, he said to the doorman in front of him. You helped me get my luggage, so now I have to go back. The red light in his eyes gradually disappeared, and the doorman came back to his senses. He nodded to Su Jie as if he had just woken up from a dream. Sir, you have finished taking your luggage, then I will go back. Su Jie smiled. Goodbye. The entire planning process has appeared in his mind. The first step is to enter the Dole Hotel. There is no need to wear a peaked cap or a mask, as those are too eye-catching. The correct way to open it is to just walk in casually, without asking for a room, and go directly to the 12th floor. He and Lin Shiqing will definitely be captured by surveillance cameras. It doesn't matter, as long as you go to the monitoring room afterwards, hypnotize the relevant staff and delete the surveillance video. When we reach the 12th floor, we first observe the situation. It's best to wear staff clothes, find an excuse to enter the room, and let those Western vampires lower their guard. At the last moment when the door opened, Su Jie used the time stop skill and stepped forward together with Lin Shiqing to kill all 3 Western vampires. There is no room for little fans in this plan. The main reason is that its appearance is too flamboyant and would be too eye-catching if brought here. If such a big spider is seen or photographed by humans, it will not end well. It is best to implement the plan later. At that time, there will not be so many people in the hotel, and it is the easiest time to implement the plan. Kill the 3 Western vampires and use the blood devouring skill to devour the essence and blood of those 3 vampires, and the matter will end successfully. Thinking of this, Su-jae felt confident, quickly walked out of the underground parking lot, and walked slowly towards the milk tea shop under the sunshine. Lin Shiqing, who was sitting by the window in the distance, quickly noticed him. A pair of smart eyes immediately blinked. She felt a lot more at ease. It seemed that Su-jae had collected the relevant information. Su-jae walked into the milk tea shop and sat opposite Lin Shiqing. "How is it?" Lin Shiqing asked eagerly. Su-jae replied with a smile. "Of course it was successfully completed. It's lucky to say that the doorman actually noticed the Western vampire, so we can take direct action." Quote. Su-jae told Lin Shiqing all the plans and arrangements. After Lin Shiqing finished listening, a look of thought appeared on her face. At the heart of all this plan lies one skill, hypnosis. Looking at the whole process, the easiest thing is to kill the 3 Western vampires. The most important thing is that no one can find out, and it needs to be kept strictly confidential. It's also important not to allow surveillance footage to capture it. Hypnotize the relevant staff to make them forget about the incident. Never let one go. Lin Shiqing suddenly felt full of challenges. Maybe try hypnotic waves. I have a new idea, maybe you can try hypnotic waves. Lin Shiqing suggested. Hypnotic waves. Su-jae was stunned and said that he had never heard of this term. When the 2 Western vampires attacked the villa, they used hypnotic waves to hypnotize all the residents in the villa area. I'm thinking, otherwise, in the early hours of tonight, we enter the Dole Hotel and hypnotize everyone directly. This will definitely not attract anyone's attention. I just don't know if it will work. Quote. Su-jae shook his head directly. It's impossible. If we do this, the Western vampires upstairs will definitely notice it. This is a fluctuation that belongs only to the vampires. Their strength is not weak, so they can definitely feel it. When the time comes to alert the enemy, things will become more difficult. Quote. After hearing what Su-jae said, Lin Shiqing suddenly felt that it made sense. This is indeed the case. They must plan without being discovered by the 3 Western vampires. Okay then, just do as you say. The 2 of them did not stay any longer at the milk tea shop. After walking out, they pretended to be tourists and entered the Dole Hotel to learn more about its structure. Sure enough, it was similar to what the doorman said. Su-jae now had the confidence. When he walked out of the hotel, he looked up at the upper floors and thought silently. Tonight, I must give you a big surprise. ... At this time, it was room 1214 on the 12th floor of the Dole Hotel. In the luxurious and spacious presidential suite, there lived 3 white men with pale faces, 3-dimensional silhouettes and high nose bridges. There was a strong smell of blood in the room, and there were several opened blood bags on the table. Sid, has the Lord replied to you? When will the contact come? We have to leave as soon as possible, otherwise we will run into those extraordinary beings sooner or later. Sid shook his head. No, I can't contact the Master now. Maybe there is some problem with his communication signal, or maybe he didn't see my phone message. Riel sneered. Do you think it's possible? I was able to contact him casually before, so how could I lose contact now? I think the Lord is going to give up on us, and we will become useless chess pieces. Quote. Yes, the Lord must have given up on us. Let's think about how to escape from here now. The only way outside the city is blocked by extraordinary beings. It was really difficult for us to escape. Sheldon sighed. About 7 days ago, they carried out a massacre in a small village next to Binhai, killing hundreds of innocent humans. This move quickly attracted the attention of the Extraordinary Association, which sent several extraordinary people to investigate. The task of killing the village was what the Lord asked them to do. According to the meaning of the Lord, the Extraordinary Association has gradually tightened its supervision of the city recently, and his vampires have been hindered in doing something in the city. In order for the mission in the city to proceed smoothly, a little chaos must be caused to disrupt the Extraordinary Association and distract its attention. When the Lord issued the mission, He promised them that he would ensure their safety and give them a lot of essence and blood potions to help them improve their strength. They also believed in this Lord, and actually did this. The final result is that they are wanted by the Paranormal Association, so that now they cannot leave the city at all. And the transcendent beings are still tracking them down, and they might be discovered at some point. We are really crazy. We listened to the command of the Lord, which led to the current situation. For a moment, Sid, Sheldon, and Riel were silent. He slaughtered the village 7 days ago and was discovered by a transcendent 3 days ago. The transcendent was quite powerful. The three of them worked together and spent a lot of money to kill him. This also directly caused them to be weak now. The more I thought about it, the less hope I had of escaping. Riel stood up and walked to the window, slightly opening the curtains. The dazzling sunlight shone on his face, and he looked at the scenery outside the window, feeling confused. There is really no chance. The transcendents are still searching. In 2 days at most, we will be found. Sheldon's voice sounded. Riel shook his head. If there is really no other way, let's try our best to see if we have a chance to escape. West Germany smiled bitterly. It would be okay if they were all extraordinary beings with potential locks, but among them there are extraordinary beings with potential locks. That's an existence comparable to the Baron, and we have no power to fight back. The massacre of the village was undoubtedly a provocation to the Extraordinary Association. Killing humans at will is not allowed. This has been a rule for hundreds of thousands of years. If they break the rule, even if the extraordinary kills them, there is no problem at all. The impact of this incident was so bad. In a small village, there were many old people and children. Under the attack of the three of them, rivers of blood flowed in a moment, and many families were broken up. The Extraordinary Association still suppressed this matter. Not many people knew about it, but even so, the 3 Western vampires must be caught and killed without mercy. If they were allowed to escape, the Extraordinary Association would have no shame in facing the dead people in the village. In the final analysis, extraordinary people are all human beings. Since they are human beings, they will sympathize with the suffering of their fellow humans. The room suddenly became extremely quiet. Time passed by minute, but they still didn't get any good method. Leaning on a chair or lying on the bed, the sun outside the window gradually sets and the moon rises. The time came to 9 o'clock in the evening. At this time, there was only one doorman left at the door of Dole Hotel. Su Jie and Lin Shiqing were on the opposite side of the intersection, walking forward slowly. In one afternoon, they were completely familiar with the plan. Try not to make any mistakes. The doorman saw the two of them and nodded in welcome. Welcome. Su Jie and Lin Shiqing nodded slightly, then followed the route they took in the afternoon and went directly upstairs. When they arrived on the 12th floor, they did not immediately go to the room where the 3 Western vampires were. Instead, they turned to the stairs nearby. There is a place for staff to store items at the top of the stairs. There are related clothing, trolleys, and cleaning supplies. Su Jie and Lin Shiqing took out 2 sets of clothes and quickly changed into them. It's just a pair of pants and a jacket, so it's easy to put on. 1214, let's go. Su Jie said softly, and the two of them pushed the trolley towards 1214. From the appearance point of view, the two of them are indeed no different from the staff. They are all dressed in the same attire. Judging from the peephole at the door, it should not make those Western vampires suspicious. They also hid the blood energy fluctuations so that they would not be noticed. The position of 1214 is relatively inside. After the two walked to the door, they looked at each other and Su Jie knocked on the door. Hello, we are cleaning, please open the door. The 3 Western vampires inside the door immediately became tense. They looked at each other for a few moments. Who ordered the cleaning service? Sid looked at the other 2 people. A confused look on his face. Little did they know that the other 2 people were also confused. We didn't scream. It's wired. Sid's eyes suddenly turned sharp. They should be supernatural beings. They are disguised as cleaning staff and want to catch us. His words immediately gained the approval of the 2 people next to him. It was very unusual for the staff to come to clean the house unexpectedly. When something goes wrong, there must be a monster. In that case, let's fight to the death, Sheldon said coldly. Then he whispered to the other 2 people. You will walk to the door with me in a moment, and when I open the door, kill the person at the door directly. It doesn't matter if he is a supernatural being, if so, of course it's good. If not, then let's just consider the cleaning lady unlucky. I would rather kill than let go. If we die, we will definitely need a few people to support us, so it's not a loss." Quote. Hearing his words, the other two vampires agreed deeply. "Yes, we can't die in vain. Let the extraordinary ones know how powerful we are. We have to kill a few of them together. Kill one without losing anything, kill two with blood gain." The eyes of the three people suddenly burned with blood-red light, and murderous intent surged. Sid stood up and said to the door, "Here we come." The two vampires followed him all the way to the door. West Germany put his hand on the door handle and winked at his teammates on both sides. Sheldon and Riel's hands began to glow with blood energy, and the blood beams were condensing. Seeing that the two of them were ready, Sid's right hand was also filled with blood energy fluctuations. The next moment, he immediately opened the door. West Germany roared at the same time. "Go meet Satan, you." When Sid was about to swing the blood energy beam at Soo-jae, an accident happened. He felt like he couldn't move any part of his body. It was like a layer of transparent shackles that tightly bound him. Not only him, but also Hilton and Riel next to him. They were terrified, but could not make any expression. According to this fluctuation, it is very likely that it is a superpower that only potential locked extraordinary people have. The next moment, several silver lights flashed. A slim figure quickly stepped forward, and 6 mithril daggers ejected, firmly inserted into the blood pills in their hearts and lower abdomens. Their bodies received a huge impact and they couldn't help but retreat. Their hearts and blood pills were pierced, and they couldn't resist at all. With blurry eyes, they looked at the two figures standing not far away in front of them, their hearts filled with despair. "Sure enough, are you going to die?" Soo-jae breathed a sigh of relief. Seeing that the 3 Western vampires in front of him had lost their ability to resist, he paused his time-stop skills. The consumption this time was still huge, basically draining all his mental energy. But there was no mental exhaustion or backlash like last time. The moment he opened the door, Soo-jae felt a sharp stream of blood rushing straight towards him. With serious eyes, he immediately used the time stop skill. After applying the effect of the skill to the 3 Western vampires in front of him, Lin Shiqing immediately rushed forward. Time stop is not a complete range skill, but more like a directional skill. As long as the skill is applied to the desired target, the effect of freezing its behavior can be achieved. Soo-jae stepped forward slowly, while West Germany was still breathing. The blood can escape, and the whole body is filled with surging blood energy. Although the fluctuations were quite terrifying, the blood energy had lost control and had become a runaway horse, rising aimlessly and finally slowly dissipating into the air. "You are a transcendent." West Germany's eyes flashed. "No, I am a vampire." The corners of Soo-jae's mouth rose, and then he stopped restraining his blood energy fluctuations. "What?" After feeling the wave that was unique to the vampires, West's eyes were horrified and his whole body was shaking. "The vampires of the West, it's time for you to get out of the East. Welcome death and go to Satan to atone for your sins." Quote. Soo-jae waved his arm lightly, and a bright light quickly appeared. This ray of light was bright in color, divided into 3 rays, and shrouded the bodies of the 3 Western vampires one by one. The next moment, the bodies of the 3 Western vampires actually began to distort and slowly dissolve. Time passed, and the ground just now became empty. This is the blood-swallowing skill, which can swallow the body of a vampire and all the blood essence without wasting a single cent. Soo-jae could feel a powerful force filling his body. His attribute points also began to increase rapidly. It lasted for more than a minute before the swelling feeling disappeared. Host: Soo-jae. Power: 151. Spirit: 153. Speed: 152. Defense: 149. Skills: Time Stop, Elementary, Transformation into Vampire, Blood Devouring. Compared with before, all attributes increased by 19 points in total. What does that mean? Soo-jae's eyes flickered, he thought about it, and then he understood why it was 19 o'clock. The 3 Western vampires killed just now were 2 of the 6th level and 1 of the 7th level. In other words, the first level strength can be converted into a few attribute points. It seems that this increase is not too much, Su Jie said to himself. Lin Shiqing on the side felt unbelievable when she saw this scene. Su Jie just made the 3 dead vampires disappear. There is no trace at all, as if these 3 vampires did not exist just now. And all the blood splattered on the ground just now disappeared. I originally thought about cleaning it up, but it seems that there is no need to do that. I have now reached the 4th level of the last vampire clan, Su Jie said. He looked inward toward the lower abdomen of his body. On the blood pill in the lower abdomen, there are already 4 waning moons. The 4-wheeled waning moon shines brightly, with a cold light. This means that he is now truly the 4th level last vampire. So fast, Lin Shiqing said in surprise. It's really fast. Su Jie smiled. There's another thing. My blood quality must have improved as well. This means that I can break through earlier by sucking your blood, Lin Shiqing reasoned. Bingo. Looking around, Su Jie wanted to find something left by the Western vampires in the room. Maybe there will be something good that will benefit you. Su Jie walked around the room and found a notebook on the table. His eyes lit up. This is a computer of unknown brand. It looks completely black, like a big black box. It's not very thick, only 4 to 5 centimeters thick. After opening it, Su Jie's eyes widened. There is still a password. This was what he expected. After all, who doesn't know how to set a password on their computer these days? Take it first. If it can be cracked, you might be able to get some valuable information from it. On the table, there are several bags of leftover blood. This thing must be packed away. If you leave it here without cleaning it, you might be suspected of coming here to clean it up and clean it, thus causing trouble again. Su Jie called Lin Shiqing. Come here, let's clear the table together. Lin Shiqing nodded when she heard this. Okay, I'll come right away. The 2 of them worked together to clean up all the abnormal situations in the room without leaving any flaws. Su Jie was still cautious. He didn't want to cause trouble. He looked around and made sure several times that there was nothing that would arouse suspicion. After making sure, he breathed a sigh of relief. Su Jie smiled brightly and patted Lin Shiqing's shoulder. Tidy up, let's get ready to leave. I pushed the trolley to the stairwell and changed into the clothes I came up with before. They also hypnotized the humans they met along the way to prevent anyone from remembering their presence. Beyond that, there's monitoring. Walking to the monitoring room downstairs, a young man with a haggard face sat in the monitoring room. After Su Jie knocked on the door, he immediately frowned. What are you doing? This is the monitoring room, no one is allowed in. A faint red light flashed in Su Jie's eyes, hypnotizing the young man in front of him. Delete all surveillance videos from the past 2 days. Okay, I'll go right away. The young man walked to the computer and performed some operations. After Su Jie watched the whole process with satisfaction, he and Lin Shiqing walked out of the monitoring room. The decoration of the Dole Hotel is indeed good. Under the huge ceiling lamp, the light enveloped the 2 people. They stopped staying and were ready to leave. The matter ended perfectly. The evening breeze blew on the faces of Su Jie and Lin Shiqing, and they went home hand in hand. They were not in a hurry to take a taxi home. Uncle Yi also said that he had something to do at the company in the evening, so he would go back later. When parents go to complete family tasks, no one will urge them to return. It feels like fighting has become a very easy thing, Lin Shiqing said suddenly. Huh, Su Jie expressed doubts. You only need to use your skills every time. I will go up and harvest it, and the battle will be over. It feels very simple, Lin Shiqing said with emotion. Ha, it's just that I haven't encountered a powerful enemy. If it is a more powerful vampire, my time stop will probably not have any effect on it. Lin Shiqing heard Su Jie's words and shook her head. Even so, it is enough. 2 6th level vampires and 1 7th level vampire are even more powerful than Uncle Yi. Quote. Su Jie was startled. Yes, before he knew it, his strength was approaching that of Yi Wei. Yi Hui's strength is that of the last vampire of the 5th level, and he is approaching the last vampire of the 6th level at a slow speed. The purity of Blood Slave's bloodline is too weak, and their strength growth rate is relatively slow. In his lifetime, 1,000 years, he will probably only reach the level of the last 9th level vampire at most. And that's assuming everything goes well. Maybe one of the realms will encounter a bottleneck and be stuck for a long time, often decades. This is only 1 month. In another month, I will probably reach the strength of the Baron. By that time, my strength growth rate will probably slow down. Su-jae thought. There is no need to worry about realm. The most important thing is that we are well. Lin Shiqing suddenly said, after the Baron there is a Viscount, after the Viscount there is an Earl, and after the Earl there is a Marquis. Where is the realm? Is there an end? She held Su-jae's hand tightly and looked up at the vast starry sky. Meeting you is the luckiest thing. Su-jae smiled. Meeting you is also the luckiest thing that has happened to me. It is already a very beautiful thing to move forward slowly with the person you like, follow each step, and become stronger together. They have only just begun to explore a future with endless possibilities. At this time, on the top floor of the Lin Group building, Zhou Shueming stretched. My back is a little sore and my whole body is a little tired. But the work report is finally finished. It was already past 10 o'clock in the evening, and this was the latest time she had worked overtime. The main reason is that there are many errors in the company's reports. The outsourcing company's ability is really poor, and the reports produced are full of problems, and the partners are urging them to hurry up and complete the reports. He raised his head and glanced at Yi Hui's office not far away. There was still dim light in the room. It's really hard to endure. It is said that CEOs will spend less time at work and more time enjoying life. But Yi Wei is just like a workaholic, a breath of fresh air among CEOs. His working energy seemed to have no limit. Every time she was so busy that she almost fell apart, but Yi Wei still had nothing to do. The vice president named Bai Ying has been away for several days and has no intention of coming back. It seems that he has resigned. Zhou Shueming's mind moved, and she doubted whether she had another chance. In addition, Yi Wei and Bai Ying have not been seen together in the past few days. Is it possible that they are not a couple as they thought? You really can't tell. Maybe the time they went to the Western restaurant before was also a meal the two of them had for work reasons. Yi Wei held up his clothes and covered Bai Ying under the clothes to prevent her from getting wet, out of politeness. But who can tell? Zhou Shueming couldn't see through Yi Wei. This was not just her feeling, everyone around her felt this way. Yi Wei is like a robot, basically not showing any emotional fluctuations. Zhou Shueming followed him for a long time before she could understand a little bit about his emotions. For example, when Yi Wei is happy, his eyes will rise, but when he is angry, his eyes will lower. There are many small actions like this, but they are not obvious and require a long time to ponder. Standing up, Zhou Shueming printed out the report. Taking the compiled report, she walked to the door of Yi Hui's office. Knocking on the door, Zhou Shueming asked, "Mr. Yi, the report is ready." Yi Wei responded in the room, "Okay, come in." Yi Wei sat behind the table, his face as calm as ever. Zhou Shueming stepped forward and placed the report on the table. The outsourcing business of Blue Island Company was handled so poorly this time. I have already informed the legal department and asked them to pay liquidated damages and will not cooperate with them again in the future. Zhou Shueming said angrily. Don't worry, you will always encounter something like this. The outsourcing companies are mixed, so just take a dim view. It's just that it's hard on you and you have to work overtime until now. Yi Wei said softly while looking at the documents in his hand. Well, Mr. Yi, aren't you going to go back and rest? Zhou Shueming asked. Go back. Yi Wei glanced at his watch. It's already past 10 o'clock. Let's do this. I'll take you home. It's okay, Mr. Yi, I can go back alone. It won't take long to take a taxi. Zhou Shueming waved her hands quickly. Yi Wei shook his head slightly. You are a girl going home late at night. What should you do if you encounter some accidents? Listen to me, I will take you home. It won't take long anyway. Okay then, thank you Mr. Yi. Yi Wei nodded and continued to read the report in his hand. He has an MBA degree and is very familiar with this kind of reports, and he can quickly find errors. In addition, the vampire's own mental power, memory, and reaction ability are much stronger than ordinary people, and the efficiency of flipping through the reports will be very high, so after spending 5 minutes, he read the entire report. No mistakes were found, and Zhou Shueming's professional ability was still in place. Okay, there is no problem with this version. Yi Wei handed the report to Zhou Shueming. You can send the electronic version to the partner now. I will clean it up and we will go downstairs together later. Zhou Shueming nodded and took the report. She still admires Yi Hui's professional abilities. When such a person becomes president, he truly deserves his name, without any water added to his name. Turning back to the computer, she immediately sent the electronic version to her collaborators. Seeing that Yi Wei had walked out of the office, Zhou Shueming quickly packed her things and walked to his side. Let's go. Zhou Shueming showed a smile. In the elevator, Zhou Shueming half-jokingly mentioned the embarrassing incident of being trapped in the elevator with him. I didn't expect you to be the CEO of this company. Zhou Shueming smiled. It was dark in the elevator, and she threw herself into Yi Hui's arms astonishingly, curled up in it, and began to confess her last words. It's a very explosive operation when you think about it. Yi Wei smiled slightly when he heard this. That past is really hilarious. After saying this, the air became a little silent. Zhou Shueming's heart beat and she raised her head slightly. Why did Mr. Bai leave so suddenly? It's so strange. Zhou Shueming couldn't help but ask. Yi Hui's expression froze. It's just a normal personnel transfer. It's understandable that she chose another company. Zhou Shueming looked at Yi Hui's side face, trying to read some answers from his face. But unfortunately, Yi Hui's expression remained unchanged and did not change at all. Yi Wei drove an older Maybach, which seemed to be from 10 years ago. He drove the car, with Zhou Shueming sitting in the passenger seat. Along the way, Zhou Shueming wanted to speak several times, but she still didn't know what to say. Your home is in this community, right? Yi Wei asked. Just around the corner is Vincent apartment, an apartment relatively close to the city center. The residents are generally white-collar workers working nearby. Zhou Shueming nodded. Yes, it's right here. The security in the community is relatively loose, so Yi Wei drove in directly. Stopping downstairs at Zhou Shueming's house, Yi Hui's voice rang out. Go up, bye. Zhou Shueming turned her head, but did not agree immediately. Mr. Yi, there is one thing I still want to ask you. Zhou Shueming finally spoke. Yi Wei was stunned. What's going on? Well, everyone in the company is very curious about whether you are married, and I really want to ask you. Yeah, I'm still single. There's a lot of gossip in the company. It's better for you to concentrate on your work. Yi Wei replied. Ah, you are still single, Mr. Yi, you must be in your 30s, why don't you find a girlfriend? After getting Yi Hui's negative answer, Zhou Shueming couldn't help but want a more in-depth answer. It's not necessary to find a girlfriend or not. After all, everyone has their own lifestyle. Some people like to fall in love, so they need to find a partner, but some people can live well alone, so finding a partner is like finding a burden. Everyone is different. Quote, Yi Wei said lightly, his voice slow and orderly, neither fast nor slow. He was intrigued by Zhou Shueming. My assistant seems to be in her 30s. As a vampire, I don't care much about age, but for humans, if you are not married in your 30s, nearly half of your life has passed. For girls, 30 is also a watershed. If you are not married by the age of 30, it may be much more difficult to consider getting married later. A new word has emerged in society, this kind of girls are called leftover women. Yi Wei suddenly felt guilty. Did he assign too many tasks to Zhou Shueming, so that she had no time to fall in love? Maybe that's the case. As an assistant to the president, you need to coordinate things between various departments, and you also need to report to yourself. There is a lot of work every day, and it takes up a lot of time outside of work. You don't seem to be looking for a partner, right? Let me think about it, you are indeed quite old. If you want to try to find a boyfriend, I can introduce you to him. There is also the issue of your position. You have been working with me for several years and have accumulated almost the same work experience. You can consider it in both the business department and the human resources department, and I will arrange a more leisurely position for you. Then you will have time to think about your own life events. Quote, Yi Hui's voice was so gentle that Zhou Shueming was in a trance for a moment. The person I like is right in front of me, but I can't say it. What's wrong? Are you thinking about something? Seeing that Zhou Shueming didn't answer, Yi Wei reached out his hand and waved it in front of her eyes. Mr. Yi, what do you think of me? Gathering up the courage, Zhou Shueming lowered her head and asked. How are you? You are very nice. You take your work very seriously and you have helped me a lot. You have also done a good job in coordinating various departments. You are a good assistant. What's wrong? Why do you suddenly ask this question? Quote. No, I want to ask you, what do you think of me in terms of a relationship between a man and a woman? What kind of person am I? Seeing that Yi Wei had brought the topic to work, Zhou Shueming quickly corrected her. When Zhou Shueming said this, she admired her courage. I actually said it. This is a historic moment. Between men and women. Xiao Zhou, what do you mean? Yi Wei didn't know what to say. Mr. Yi, actually. Zhou Shueming wanted to say the next 4 words, but she seemed to be stuck and suddenly couldn't speak. Actually what? Yi Wei had a vague hunch that Zhou Shueming seemed to be about to say something earth-shattering. Actually, I have liked you for a long time. I have noticed you since I was trapped in the elevator with you. Until now, when I am your assistant to the president, I feel that my feelings for you are getting deeper and deeper. I want to be with you if I have the chance. Zhou Shueming's mouth was like a Gatling gun that kept firing. He kept talking for a long time, making Yi Wei a little confused. Was he actually confessed, or your own assistant? After a moment of shock, Yi Wei began to think. No matter what, it is impossible for me to be with Zhou Shueming. He is a vampire, while Zhou Shueming is a human. If he were with him, he and Zhou Shueming would definitely not be able to go far, and it would be difficult for him to have a human love experience. While Yi Wei still has a youthful appearance, Zhou Shueming is already old and gray-haired. What an inconsistent scene. He will delay this girl. Yi Wei shook his head. I can't be with you. Zhou Shueming felt cold and asked unwillingly, why, do you not like me? But if you don't like me, why do you want me to be your assistant? Her chest was rising and falling, and her face was full of confusion and confusion. Whether I like you or not has nothing to do with letting you be an assistant. You need to understand that what I value is your professional ability. Yi Wei said forcefully. No, there are many people in the entire company who are better than me. You didn't choose them, but you chose me. This shows a certain problem. Zhou Shueming continued to ask. Yi Wei was stunned. Ask yourself, when you promoted Zhou Shueming, you still had some subjective factors. He did have some feelings for this lively and lovely girl. Zhou Shueming was chattering, and just listening to her talking in his ears made him feel very happy. Yi Wei likes to listen to her work reports very much. Her work reports are very vivid and often touch on many aspects of the company's operation, and she even makes a few interesting jokes. Her voice is clear and sweet, just like a lark, which was Yi Hui's favorite bird when he was a child. In the Ming Dynasty, he was only 8 years old. In that rural place, there were many larks in the woods, and those larks would make a graceful sound every time they arrived in the evening. Young Yi Wei held a bullwhip and sat by the woods, watching the sunset and listening to the song of the lark. Zhou Shueming looks very cute, with a charming and innocent face. When she first started working, she was in a lot of situations, made a lot of jokes, and even cried anxiously once. But Yi Wei never put much pressure on her. With Yi Hui's tolerance, she gradually adapted. Countless memories of the past were shown in front of his eyes, and Yi Wei softened his heart. His eyes flickered to the side, and when he was about to answer, Zhou Shueming hugged him directly. She rested her head on his shoulder, wrapped her arms around him, and held him tightly. A hot body enveloped him. Zhou Shueming suddenly felt why Yi Hui's body was so cold. It was bone-chillingly cold, hardly human temperature. How is this going? Zhou Shueming was shocked, but Yi Wei in her arms showed no reaction. Is it cold? Yi Wei said coldly. A bit. Zhou Shueming hesitated. She muttered in her mind, Yi Wei doesn't have any disease, does he? But looking at his normal appearance, he doesn't look like a sick person. With a body temperature of more than 10 degrees, it's not just a bit cold, right? Yi Wei said lightly. Why is your body temperature so low? Zhou Shueming lay on Yi Hui's shoulder, unwilling to leave. Are you sick? If you are sick, just take active treatment and I will stay with you. Take good care of it. You are the president of the company, you will definitely have money to take care of it. Zhou Xueming's voice was anxious, and Yi Wei felt a warmth from it. There is no cure. All this comes from the fact that I am a vampire. Bloodlines. Zhou Xueming's body shook, and she slowly sat back in the passenger seat in disbelief. Looking at Yi Hui's face, her eyes changed. Yi Wei just looked at Zhou Xueming quietly. It was dark in the car, but he could see her clearly through the vampire's vision. Zhou Xueming's expression was a little stiff, her eyes widened, and the corners of her mouth twitched slightly, almost wanting to speak. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.